dropshipping secrets. I got a list of notes here, actually. I got a list of about 53 different things I'm going to talk about today. So it's going to be a pretty good one. But yeah, definitely, this is for anybody who's like a beginner, or if you're intermediate, advanced, already doing dropshipping. Should be helpful for you. I'm going to start out beginner stuff. So if this is kind of like a little bit too basic for you to start out with, just maybe fast forward or watch the replay, fast forward to like maybe about halfway through or something like that, where I start getting into more advanced topics. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to drop the link to the podcast in the comment section here in the live feed. So you can definitely subscribe to that. And as well, you can, if you're watching on YouTube, you can get on a free Facebook group. That's a free group, and they're also watching live on Facebook here as well. All right, so definitely get in there, guys. It's a great place to communicate and involve yourself in the community. So let's get started with the presentation. First and foremost, for beginners out there, the biggest question is like, what is this high-ticket dropshipping thing all about? Okay, and how is this kind of dropshipping different from other types of dropshipping? There's a lot of confusion about what is dropshipping these days, because a lot of people think that, well, dropshipping, it just sounds kind of like a get-rich-quick scheme or something. Just, it kind of is, unfortunately, a factor of all these people that have gone online and just created Facebook ads and stuff like that, and sell these like $20 courses on how to go to like AliExpress and find a product, how to put it on a Shopify store really quick, how to run a Facebook ad and get sales and make $5 or $10 profit per product. And while that may work short term, it probably isn't going to really work out for you long term unless you move into a branded e-commerce model. You're actually private labeling your own products, okay? Just for the simple fact that you're working directly with Chinese suppliers doing that kind of stuff. And when Chinese suppliers, change the way they make a product, they don't really tell you. Okay, so you are really a supplier, in that sense, of the word. In America, you have to assume the warranty and the other, legal liabilities that have to do with the product if you're doing dropshipping directly from China. And so there's a lot more risk involved. That's why people start with low-ticket products, inexpensive stuff, under $100, because then you're not having as much liability when you have an issue with the product. You can just simply issue a refund to somebody, okay? And I get that. It also makes sense for people that don't have a whole lot of credit yet. Maybe you're young, or you just don't have a lot of cash. You're kind of starting, you're bootstrapping with very little money. That type of dropshipping is actually a decent way to start out with in the beginning, because what you're going to do is have a very low risk business model, and you're going to have very low cost of goods sold. So when you make a sale, it's like $30 to $50 or something like that. You only have to pay out $20 for the actual product. That's a way lower cost of goods sold than if you were to sell a $3,000, $5,000 product. You got a $2,000 cost of goods sold. That's way higher. You got to manage that a little bit more. Okay, so high ticket dropshipping, which I'm going to be getting into in a little bit here, is a bit more of an advanced business model, and it's more for people that are more well financially prepared. Because if you just get into it as a beginner, you can make a lot of mistakes, and you can run into a lot of issues and stuff like that, and it's quite complicated. Although I do high ticket dropshipping myself, it's not where I started. I started with eBay and Amazon, and I was selling, in the very first place, I was selling products out of like my home, just like things left over from high school my parents had bought me that I didn't need anymore, so I needed money for college. I would sell like Pokemon cards, like sets of Pokemon cards I had laying around, toys and things like that from my garage. I was selling those on eBay and Amazon, and as time went on, actually through college, my parents were buying me textbooks, and you know how colleges work, you have to get a new textbook every single semester. So it was kind of a pain in the butt, because I would have this $100 textbook left over. What do I do with it? Well, I decided, hey, let me look around how I can sell it on the internet. I'm already doing stuff like that. And I figured out you can sell them on Amazon. So what I would do is I would have the textbook one semester, and then at the very end of the semester, right, it's no longer useful, but I didn't sell it at the end of the semester where the demand was low. I sold it at the very beginning of the next semester when everybody's looking for the previous semester's textbooks. And at that point, the demand was high, and you could raise your price a lot more. So I would sell that textbook I bought for maybe 50 or $100 that previous semester for maybe like the same amount, or up to double the price, the beginning of the next semester, and actually worked out quite well. Of course, that kind of thing isn't like a long-term sustainable thing. It was just making some extra side money when I was in college, okay? That's how I got started, guys. I learned how to make product descriptions that way, take pictures of the products, how to manage the customer service, how to fulfill orders, all those little tiny things, that I'm doing every day now that I have my team doing for me. Those are the things that I learned through low risk business model. It's a very low risk bootstrap model. Okay, I didn't have my own website. I used eBay, Amazon, that kind of stuff. So people are asking some questions. So I'm going to jump into some questions really quick, and I'm going to jump back into the teaching. Parat asks tips for Bing ads. We'll definitely get into that later. Bing ads, there's definitely, it's just like Google ads, folks. So Bing ads, like they literally copied Google ads. So the same thing you do for your Google ads, do for Bing ads. Okay, what I usually do is if I make changes to my Google ads, go back to Bing ads and I click the copy and paste button, and everything just pops right up. So just keep that in mind. Thank you for the question. And Matthew Brownwell asks, I have a unique product if you want to sell. Well, that's great, man. Yeah, if you have a unique product, then you should definitely sell it, but you have to, figure out the branding of it. I would recommend launch it first in some sort of launch, kind of like Kickstarter works. If you have a unique product, either do it through your own channels, through your own community, or use someone else's community. That whole thing is like branded e-commerce is a great way to grow a business and a brand overall. It's not really what I do. Right? I do is even lower risk, because with branded e-commerce, oftentimes you have to invest upfront in the product that you're going to sell, right? So if it's a big bulky product, it might be really expensive. If it's a small product, that's great. Like if you're selling like shoelaces, for instance, very, very cheap product. You can buy hundreds of them for very cheap, and it's in a very low risk model, obviously. But good for you, Matthew. I hope you have the best luck there. And Parat asks about alternative traffic sources outside of Google. Account is currently suspended after 1 week. Suspend, yeah. You've got to figure out why your account was suspended first. If you can identify that, then it'll help you to use alternative traffic sources. If maybe you have a type of product that Google doesn't allow to be sold through Google Ads, Merchant Center doesn't allow it or something like that. And in that case, I would probably go after social media, communities and things like that. Organic traffic, so targeting keywords with organic search is great. Nothing is really banned from organic traffic, right? So you can get keywords, look at the keywords your target market is typing into Google to solve their problem, okay? Create content on your website and your product pages and blog posts that lead them to the product pages about those keywords and helping solve that problem, and then you'll rank organically for that. So go for SEO and look up alternative traffic methods as well. Okay, supplements. Matthew asking about a supplement. All right, well, that's great, Matthew. I would recommend building out a sales funnel using something like ClickFunnels or another funnel builder app. And then I would probably, figure out exactly where your competitors are getting traffic from and try to get traffic from the same sources. If they're running Facebook ads, great. If they're running Google ads, great. If they're doing social media, great. Buy traffic from their communities, build your own community, maybe even run like a joint venture launch with other affiliates that are in the supplement space that have a big community already, offer them an affiliate commission and build your own list, and then continue to sell and remarket to that list. That's usually how supplement stuff goes. If you want to learn more about supplement sales, go check out Russell Brunson's book, .com Secrets. He did supplements, so he's the best guy to look at that. So without further ado, I'm going to check Facebook really quick and see if anybody's commenting in here. And I don't see anybody, so that's great. Let's go ahead and get back to the training. All right, so we talked about the different types of drop shipping, talked a little bit about where I started and why I decided that I wanted to create a sustainable business. Now, what I happened to fall upon is that when you want to do drop shipping as a sustainable business model, not just a one-off thing, is you have to start looking for suppliers, okay? You have to look for a company that actually makes the product already for you, so that you don't have to do the product development, you don't have to do the fulfillment, you don't have to do the warehousing, you don't have to order it in bulk, you don't have to do the packaging, you're not going to have to do, get the liability insurance. You don't have all that overhead, okay, that a supplier normally has. So starting from branded e-commerce, you're taking on overhead. Drop shipping is a lower risk business model, less overhead in the beginning. All you need is a website and like an email address, phone number, stuff like that. Okay. So the reason why I started with high ticket drop shipping is that I started realizing that the higher the dollar amount of the product, the more profit you get per sale. When you make more profit per sale, you don't need to make as many sales in a month to make good, sustainable living. Okay, how much do you need to make a living in the U.S., for instance, in a developed nation? In a big city. I used to live in Los Angeles, and my monthly expenses were like somewhere around $5,000-$6,000. It was me and my girlfriend, and so that is quite a bit of money, right? It's a big city. That's how much it costs to live. Okay. Now, cheaper parts of the U.S. or developing countries, it might cost you $1,000 or $2,000 a month to live. You can live on even more of a budget if you just are really mindful about your spending. Okay. But if you can make a few $1,000s a month, you can probably live and cover your expenses. Now that doesn't mean you're going to be able to have like health insurance and all this other stuff paid for like you would with a job and a career. You're going to have to pay for that stuff separately. And it's being self-employed, that's just how it is. Okay, you're going to have to do your own health insurance. You're going to have your own dental insurance. You're going to have your own travel insurance if you're traveling overseas. You're going to have to deal with your own 401k. You're going to have to deal with your own IRA. You deal with your own stuff. Having an employer is completely different. Okay, being self-employed, you deal with all these different things, and you have to pay Medicare and Social Security taxes to the IRS because they're not taking money out of your paycheck every month, right? You have to pay them. Once you start making a lot of money, usually it's quarterly. And you pay them medical and Social Security, and plus federal income tax and state income tax if you live in a state with income tax. So being self-employed is a different ballgame. That's what dropshipping is all about, though. It's being self-employed. And the beauty of being self-employed, especially with your own website business, is that you're of course able to work wherever you want to. I'm at home right now in my villa in Bali, and I don't really have to go to an office. Of course, it's the weekend. I probably would be off anyways. But the cool thing is, if it's a Monday, I don't have to wake up till like 11 o'clock or noon. I got people doing my work for me. At this point. So it's a great business model because you choose your own hours, you work your own hours, and obviously you have location independence and time freedom. Those are the main things, reasons I got started with this business model in the first place. I know that's usually what everybody else wants as well, is location independence and time freedom. Okay, those are the two main things. When it comes to money, most people just want enough money to live on. That's all I really wanted. It's just that basic amount of income to cover my expenses, to have a good life, to do what I want to do. There's a few people out there that want to get like super ultra rich with this stuff in the very beginning, and those people kind of have the wrong mindset. Okay, what you have to have in the beginning is the mindset you want to serve people, and when you have that mindset to start with, the money will follow eventually. Okay, but start with the mindset of serving people. One more question here from Parat. Thank you for the questions, by the way. High ticket is definitely the way to go. Any good automation tricks like Zapier? Yeah, Zapier works great. Zapier works between different software platforms. So if you want to use spreadsheets for keeping organized, you can export any kind of information from any one of the apps you use into a spreadsheet, for instance. If you want to, have automations from Gmail, from suppliers, like Supplier sends you inventory sheets. Well, you can make an automation to tag that particular supplier when they send you an inventory sheet and upload it to a spreadsheet, or even upload it to your Shopify store using an app like StockSync. And there's lots of automations you can do out there, great for scaling and stuff like that. I'm gonna get into that a little bit more in depth later on. We're 12 minutes in, so if you guys are feeling like you're excited about this, definitely drop me a comment and let me know how excited you are, and also where you're calling in from. I'm really interested to hear like where people are calling in from. There's only a few people watching right now. I understand that it's 2 p.m. in Bali, probably 2 a.m. on the East Coast, and about 11 p.m. on the Pacific Coast. But still, it's great to be able to communicate with all of you guys from the other side of the world or wherever you happen to be at. So thanks so much for tuning in. Appreciate the comments so far. Let's move on and talk about high ticket dropshipping and how it works. Okay, high ticket is definitely one of the best business models because what you're doing is you're working with suppliers that make products on a continuous basis, the same products over and over and over again. When you're doing drop shipping from China with AliExpress, you're choosing products like, trying to find trending products. Okay, it's very, very low barrier to entry. You're going to run into a lot more competitors jumping in all the time. And it's a very fickle business model. Okay, one trending product can blow up one month and the next month be dead. So you got to always be finding new products, and that's kind of a pain in the butt. With high ticket dropshipping, you find a winning product, that supplier is going to keep making that product over and over and over again. They might have back order and stock out issues, but they usually come back every couple of weeks. And customers will usually back order and be willing to pre-order and wait for their order to come in. So you can have a really good sustainable income just working with suppliers all the time, not having to do any of your own products. With one caveat though, and that is that I am actually, something I'm getting into myself now, which is private labeling the accessories that you can sell with these high ticket products. Pretty cool. Right now I'm just drop shipping those accessories to my customers from Amazon. I'm upselling them and I'm providing them as free gifts. Obviously, private labeling, something like that, creating a separate brand for accessories in that niche is an awesome way to build your brand, build your business, and make a lot more profits in the long run. Matthew Brownell asks the question, do you prefer Shopify than WooCommerce? It's a great question, Matthew. And I'll let you know how I feel about that. So the deal with Shopify, the reason why I started using it is because they manage the hosting for you, okay? you don't have to manage your hosting. Now, before like 2013, it was kind of hard to find managed hosting services. Now there's a ton of them for WordPress. So like, you can have managed hosting and they take care of your hosting for you, which is great. Back in the day, I used to have a GoDaddy, shared hosting, and I had a WooCommerce site, and I always had to deal with these issues with the website where it would like shut down and stuff like that. And it was a pain in the butt. Really, totally honestly, it just drove me crazy because once a month, usually on average, the site would just go down, and I'd have a bunch of people trying to order and no one could order. So I had to call a developer and have them try to fix it for me. I'm not like a coder, so it was a pain. So I switched over to Shopify at some point. I made the mistake of not moving over all my organic links, redirecting them to the new pages. So I lost a lot of organic traffic, and Shopify didn't really convert as well as my WooCommerce site did for some reason. So I ended up moving back, got all my organic links back magically, and it started converting like right then and there. So my first move to Shopify was a complete failure, and I totally take responsibility for that. But I do like how their website loads a lot faster than like a normal WordPress site does when you're trying to upload it and stuff like that. I don't like how Shopify is growing into more of like an Amazon-like figure where they are shutting down stores and denying people access to Shopify payments. They even have a thing where if you don't use Shopify payments, you have to pay a 2% fee, which I think is ridiculous because you're already paying a monthly fee to use their platform. Okay, so Shopify, I love and I use them, but I'm dealing with them and dealing with their like payments department and their fraud department and stuff like that is getting to be a real pain in the butt. For people like me, it doesn't really make sense because I'm an established business owner. I've done business with them many different times. They should have a way for people like me to be able to, almost got the mosquito. People like me to actually be able to continue to do business with them all the time. And unfortunately, they don't, and they just make a real pain in the butt to deal with. So yes, if you guys are using Shopify and you're getting annoyed, the move over to WooCommerce is not the worst thing. Okay, you just have to get your managed WordPress hosting. You've got to set up a WooCommerce site. You got to get a good theme. You've got to figure out how to optimize it for conversions the same way you would do with the Shopify store. As long as your hosting is managed, you can get all the same stuff in different ways. Here's the biggest difference. Shopify is set up with a monthly payment system, right? So it's $29 a month or you pay yearly. There's not like a one-time fee to use Shopify. They just don't have that available, okay? With WooCommerce, it's different. So you have a WordPress hosting. It's usually yearly that you're paying for it. And with that, you're going to be setting up a free WooCommerce plugin, and then you're going to have to pay for some extra added extensions to make that site fully functional. Cool thing about Shopify is it's mostly fully functional right out of the box, except for the themes. The free themes aren't really exactly optimized for conversions. You have to throw a bunch of apps into it. And most of the Shopify apps charge monthly fees, whereas a lot of the WordPress apps are free to start with. Some of them are, one-time fee to pay for, especially through Woo themes. And some of them are monthly charges for premium. They're like freemium models, okay? So yes, as long as you adhere to the same principles of conversion optimization and marketing and sales and copywriting, a WordPress and WooCommerce site can work awesome. I'm even considering doing an experiment where I try to take a website, using WooCommerce instead of Shopify, using high-ticket dropshipping and launch it and scale it eventually here in a little while. We'll see what happens with that. I'm not making any promises, but yeah, that's what that is. Matthew asked another question. Does it matter that customer will get the supplier information after delivery of the high-ticket product? Yeah, usually your suppliers aren't going to send it. It's called blind dropshipping. Okay, it's a term that the industry uses to call it when a supplier ships a product to your customer without the invoice. All they get is the packing slip. Okay, all suppliers do that with the dropshipping agreement. They know not to send invoices that show the pricing, your cost. And even if it did happen by accident, the customer would probably understand that obviously you shipped it from your supplier, you bought it at that cost, whatever. This kind of thing is very common when you're doing price arbitrage dropshipping, where you're dropshipping from another online retailer like Walmart or Lowe's.com or HomeDepot.com. But often if you don't select a free gift, sometimes they just do it anyways. They send the invoice with the package, and the customer sees that they could have gotten it from that other place for $10 cheaper, and they're a little bit pissed about it. Happened to me one time actually. I opened my bike shop and I wanted to buy a bunch of bicycle racks for the wall, and I bought them on eBay. because I thought, okay, whatever, it's easy, boom. I get 5 of them in the mail, and it comes with a receipt from Amazon. I thought, I didn't remember ordering these from Amazon, and it was for like $5 less or whatever than what I paid on eBay for each one of them. And I was kind of upset at first, and then I realized that it just happened, and I was okay with it just because I'm an entrepreneur too, and it, whatever, it's $5. But kind of a funny story there. So yes. High ticket dropshipping, guys. Let's get back into it. By the way, thank you so much for the comments. Please drop them below. Let me know where you're viewing in from. There's now 7 people viewing on YouTube, which is awesome. A lot higher than 3. I think we've gone up about 50% in view rate, which is amazing. And I'm kind of sarcastic about that, but thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it. So high ticket dropshipping is definitely still working in 2020. A lot of people are wondering, like, is the pandemic screwing things up? Well, no, it's not actually. UPS is still delivering products. Freight companies are still delivering products. Warehouses are still operating. A lot of things are starting to open up now as well. So business, if anything, has been booming because everybody's buying stuff online. I have 3 of my own high-ticket dropshipping stores, and I'm about to launch another like 5 or 10 niche stores. My team is really good at doing this now. So I've basically been able to come up with a process and a system, kind of like McDonald's does for franchises, but only internally, and I'm building my own kind of empire of stores out now, where we go out, we recruit suppliers, we set up niche stores, we launch the products, and we start getting sales right away. Okay, this is definitely working, and it's working in tons of different niches. Some particular niches a lot more than others, where people, like, for instance, I just want to throw one out there, but it just turns out that like home brewing products happen to be blowing up. I'll throw another one out there. It turns out that backyard products like bounce houses and stuff like that are blowing up. I mean, people are like stuck at home and they can't go out. So what's the one thing they should be doing is just like having fun in the backyard, or, drinking a bunch of beer, brewing their own beer at home, Yeah, there's certain niches that are absolutely exploding right now. Another one is the indoor golf niche, like golf simulators and stuff like that. That's blowing up. And yeah, anyway, so there's tons of niches out there, guys. If you want more niches, by the way, I'll drop a link in the description of this video to my free 99 niches list for high ticket dropshipping. High ticket dropshipping in particular requires a few different things about the suppliers and the industry in general to be profitable, okay? And there's some niches that just don't work. I have a list of niches that do work. So if you kind of want like a head start, you can go there. Let's answer another question here. Matthew asks, so on a high ticket product, customer wouldn't be happy if you realize it's paid $700 more. Can I see high ticket dropshipping product websites? I don't publicly release my websites due to obvious privacy reasons, but I do make trainings showing them in the back end and how to manage stores by using my stores as examples in my high ticket dropshipping masterclass. So if you really want to see it, Matthew, you're gonna have to pay up, buddy. But yeah, anyways, I know that might sound a little bit annoying, and oh, you're just another guru, but sorry, dude, I just don't release this stuff publicly, man. I'm not going to. It's a privacy issue, and anybody can copy me, and there's a lot of freebie seekers and freeloaders out there, and I just don't want anything to do with them. So I'm putting this content out there. I'm using my free time. I could be just working on my dropship site right now. Instead, I'm out there teaching you guys absolutely 100% for free. And so, I hope that you find value in this, and that eventually maybe, you might be willing to pay me for something. And I put a ton of effort into all of my training materials, and I've gotten tons of great testimonials on them as well. But again, I don't expect anything from you, and I just hope that you do gain something from this training material. And if you do, just drop something in the comment and let me know. So I feel good about doing more of these free trainings on the internet here. So let's talk more about how to get started, okay? A lot of people think that, oh, you just need a website to start. Well, that's actually not true. With high ticket drop shipping, you need an actual legal business, okay? It's not just like price arbitrage drop shipping where you're going to buy it from Home Depot and ship it, and sell it on Amazon and ship it, and have Home Depot ship it to the customer. It's not like that, okay? You actually are working with brands, okay? You're working with suppliers. These are real manufacturers that require you to have an authorized dealer agreement with them before you can sell their products. In order to do that, you have to have a good website that shows that you're a knowledgeable person in not only their industry, but also you're going to represent their products really well, and you're going to take care of your customers really well, and you know what you're doing with e-commerce and marketing, okay? And so if you throw up a really crappy website, it's a lot less likely you'll get suppliers. If you throw up a really good looking website, it's more likely you will get those suppliers. But usually it has to be a niche website. Some suppliers are cool with non-niche websites. A lot of suppliers require that your website be a niche in their industry, serve their particular industry, just because their products are so complicated. They're so they're so niche that they really need specific support on the particular topic, okay? So you have to create a website first. But before you even do that, you need something called a seller's permit. Okay, a lot of these suppliers will ask for your seller's permit, and this is usually in the United States, of course. If you're working abroad, it's differently. But for seller's permits, it's different for each state. Okay, seller's permits are issued by the state, and you need to have a little bit of stuff done before you can even get a seller's permit. And that is, you're going to need to get some sort of either a sole proprietorship started up, or an LLC, or an S corp, or whatever you want to do. It depends on your assets and your asset liability and all that good stuff. But you're going to need to create some sort of a legal business. For instance, in California, you can set up a sole proprietorship with just a DBA filing, which is pretty cool and easy and fairly affordable. Of course, you're 100% liable for any legal action that gets taken towards you personally. So if your business gets sued, you're personally liable to pay out for that business lawsuit, right? If you start an LLC, however, in California, up front it'll cost you like $700 or something like that, and there's a yearly franchise fee you have to pay, and it's a pain in the butt. But you have to, you will have that liability protection. If someone sues your business, they're going to only be able to take what's out of the business as far as assets, not your personal assets. So if you own real estate, for instance, or you have a big stock portfolio, they're not going to be able to have access to that through that business lawsuit. Okay, I've never been sued as a high-ticket dropshipping business, knock on wood. We take care of our customers 100% all the time, and we don't ever, we have specific clauses on our website that say that any products you use are not our liability, okay? And, I've never had any issues with that. When it comes to an LLC filing, I recommend a company called InkFile. If you guys are interested, I will drop a link below. I really like them because they make it easy. I actually filed my LLC with them, and they make it really, really simple. They send you the paperwork and everything within a few days. You can get an LLC from them. I usually recommend doing it in a state that's a non-income tax state. There's a bunch of them, like Florida, Wyoming, Nevada, Washington, Alaska, for instance. Those are non-income tax states. Okay, if you're out of the country, I would definitely recommend consulting with an attorney or CPA locally about doing business in the US before you actually do it yourself. But you need to form some sort of a company. If you have assets to protect, form an LLC. And if you're in a state already, forming in another state might not make sense, especially if the state you're in charges income tax, right? Because then you're going to have to report that state as an out-of-state business in the state you're in. You're still going to have to pay income tax in your own state, okay? So, one thing I did was that I moved from California up to Washington when I first started. I established a residence there, basically my family's house, and I was able to then form a Wyoming LLC and operate as a digital nomad wherever I wanted to in the world using Wyoming and Washington, because neither of them require an income tax return. They don't charge income tax, either of those states. So I usually recommend people set up in Wyoming. Do not set an LLC up in Washington because they have a gross income tax of like 1% or 2% or some stupid thing on your gross revenue. So I would recommend do not set up an LLC there and get your seller's permit. Get your seller's permit in Wyoming or Florida, another income tax-free state that doesn't have any kind of franchise tax, stuff like that. Again, speak to a CPA, guys. This is just from my experience. Don't take anything that I'm saying as legalese. Like, actually speak to a CPA and get good advice based on your situation, because I do not know you and I do not know your situation specifically. But these are the things you will need. You're going to need LLC. You're going to need an EIN from the federal government. This is the first thing you'll need in EIN if you're out of the country. An employer identification number will allow you to then file taxes with the government, and of course get accounts with suppliers. You'll need a business checking account. I recommend Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America. I personally use Wells Fargo and Chase. They do great. I recommend getting a business credit card before you start. With high-ticket dropshipping, you're going to be dropshipping high-ticket products, so there's a lot of rewards you can get. You can get a lot of cash back. It's pretty awesome. Okay, so get a rewards card if you can, if you have the capital for it. And I recommend at least $5,000 or $10,000 in credit limit to start before you get started. Okay, that's usually plenty. Okay, you're going to need that seller's permit I was talking about. And if you plan on traveling or just want the privacy, I recommend getting a traveling mailbox account. And I'll drop the link below. It's basically a virtual office address where they will actually take your mail, scan it for you, and send it an email to you. So with that PDF attached to it. So it's pretty awesome, and it's very affordable. It's like $20 a month, And their service is really amazing when it comes to making it easy for you to travel and stuff as a digital nomad, and keep a business going, and not have to deal with physical mail. It's just a pain in the butt, right? Kind of dealing with that physical mail stuff, and like making your family deal with it for you or something like that. Okay. And even just for simple privacy issues, a lot of people have virtual office addresses for their business. You can get it through InkFile, even when you file your LLC through them. Okay. Let's see here. Crypto King asks, how would you answer customer questions on the product when you've never seen the products for customer service? That's a great question. So usually, obviously, the supplier will supply a product description. It should list all the specifications of it and probably, hopefully, the features of the product as well. Now, it's your job as the e-commerce marketer to, make copywriting on that listing that explain the benefits of those features and sell that product a bit, right? And then answer FAQs. And there's an app that you can use with Shopify. There's also one you can use with WooCommerce. There's always apps that have a question answer format, like a little button you press and you type in the question and you hit submit. People will submit that question to you. You can then take that question. If you know how to answer it back. Maybe it's a simple question like shipping time or weight of the product, or how big is it, or will it fit in this, or whatever, how fast does it go, whatever the niche is, right? Questions and answer app will help you to improve your product listing, which is awesome. Okay, the next thing, of course, is you get a phone call or email and you just don't know how to answer it. You can always tell them, it's a great question. Let me call my supervisor, manager, my warehouse manager, blah, blah, blah. Use that sort of terminology, that sort of wording so that it sounds more professional. Basically, you're going to call your supplier or email them, ask them that question, get the answer, and then reply back to your customer, okay? And it works really well. And of course, every time you do that, make a note, update your product description with that information so that you don't have to do it again in the future. Great question, by the way. Crypto King asks another question. Do the companies provide training on their products for questions? Some do, which is actually pretty cool. Some of the bigger suppliers do provide training, like through webinars and stuff like that. And especially now with coronavirus, where their suppliers aren't able to physically meet with them. They can't send their reps to the supplier shops anymore. You can definitely get webinars and training from the suppliers, okay? Just ask them, hey, do you guys provide any kind of training? And they might even set up a webinar through like Zoom or something like that. Definitely possible these days. And if anything, just read the information on their website. Usually suppliers have a full website, tons of information, blog posts even, product descriptions, and you can learn all about the products just through the supplier's website, okay? They're gonna provide that to you, and you should definitely go through that. I actually recommend going through our supplier's website before you even think about calling them, just so that you have an idea of their brand, their product line, what they sell, and how you think they would be a good fit for your website. Because that's the first question that they're gonna ask you. Do you think that you're going to be a good fit for us and we're going to be a good fit for you? That's basically usually the questions they ask. And if you're a niche website in their industry, you can be an expert, provide the best customer service, and you are going to be a good fit for them, and they might be a good fit for you, and it'll be a win-win. Thank you for the questions, Crypto King. Appreciate that. Matthew asked another question. He said, thank you for this. Thank you for tuning in and dropping the comments, Matthew. I appreciate it. So why would you make a website instead of just adding the product to Amazon? That is an awesome question. Everybody thinks that Amazon converts better than every other website out there. And while Amazon does convert great for low-ticket products, for extremely high-ticket products, they usually don't. And you can sell a lot more of them through niche websites, especially when you have a lot of content and a lot of reviews. The number one reason why people go to Amazon to buy, number one, it's because they are well known, okay? Social proof. Everybody buys on Amazon. Number two, it's because they trust them, okay? Amazon has a lot of trust built into them. They deliver on their promise, and they have an easy return policy. Number three, because they make it easy to buy, okay? They have like one-click buy. You set up an account, you set up your credit card, you can buy anything you want with one click. Really easy to buy on Amazon. The other thing is because usually when you're going to Amazon, you can find anything you want there. They're a one-stop shop. So keep in mind, guys, that it's great to have your website set up in the same ways that Amazon is for your niche industry. But if you try to build out a broad site like Amazon, your marketing is going to be all over the place. It'll be very difficult if you're a beginner. So you got to build niche websites, and you got to make them specific to a niche industry. And you want to really have the same things that Amazon has. You want to have trust built into it. So you got to have trust seals on your website. You want to have social proof. So you got to have lots of reviews on your product pages, okay? Curate reviews. Ask your suppliers, where can I get reviews from me for these products, okay? Number three, make it easy for people to buy. Have multiple payment options ready. You can even have Amazon Pay as an option. They already have an Amazon account. They use that account to buy on your website. People are going to buy high-ticket products from your website if you have really good content on your website and you are very trustworthy and you answer the phone. What's the number one thing that Amazon doesn't do that every niche site can and should do? Answer the phone for customers, okay? In the very beginning, Amazon was taking phone calls all the time. Now they just don't do it. It's crazy, but you can converse with them through email and stuff like that, but Amazon does not take phone calls for specific products. They don't have product experts. They're just an everything store now. You can't call them about a really niche specific product, ask them niche specific questions. They're not gonna have anybody that really knows about that particular industry. So as a niche industry website, you are gonna know about that industry. You're gonna be the best person to sell that very complicated niche product, and you're gonna be able to get that sale. And it works really well through Google Shopping ads, okay? If you don't know what Google Shopping ads are, I'm gonna get into that later. It's a traffic method we use to get on the first page at the very top of Google for a very low cost amount. And people buy them through there because they're already in the market to find them, and they're trying to not only find the best price, but they're trying to find a website that they can trust, that's an expert, and has a lot of social proof, and offers bonuses, free gifts, and is a one-stop shop where they can get more of the accessories that they need with that product, okay? So people do buy from you. And that is a great question, Matthew. Now, by the way, just want to add to that really quick is that you can sell those products on Amazon that you also sell in your niche store. And you'll even increase sales that way because people do buy high ticket products on Amazon. One huge thing to watch out for though is Amazon's A to Z guarantee process, okay? I have had some really bad experiences with them in the past. A to Z guarantee claims are really easy for customers to file, and it's a pain in the butt to deal with as a seller. And Amazon is always going to be going towards the buyer, right? The consumer. They love the consumer. They want to take care of the consumer as much as they possibly can. They're always going to be trying to help the consumer. So be very careful with Amazon. Now, I do a lot of eBay sales, and eBay isn't such a pain in the butt. As long as the product is delivered, and the eBay works pretty well. So I recommend eBay selling over Amazon selling. If you happen to be in the home niche or any kind of home industry, you can sell in Houzz as well. They're also a marketplace, and there's other ones as well. Great question. All right, let's answer a few more questions here before we get back into the training. Jonathan Phillips, thank you for the questions. Let's get into it. Can I use transactional keywords for my Google Shopping ads to get buyer-ready traffic, regardless of search volume on the keywords selected to bid? Yes, you can. Obviously, even if you don't have any data on the search volume, you can still set those as negative keywords in your, high priority campaigns, so they get pushed down to your low priority campaigns. You bid really high, and you'll get tons of specific traffic for that model name and SKU number, even if it's really long tail keywords, just by using like search. What's the keyword style? Either the modified broad match or the phrase match keyword in your negative keywords. Okay. I have all this training, by the way, on this kind of stuff in my masterclass. I talk about it in my YouTube channel, like about how to do it, but I show you over my shoulder how to do it in my high ticket dropshipping masterclass. This is the biggest difference between my content on YouTube, podcast, and my actual course. I decided to structure it that way because kind of the information I provide in the course is like really, it's like I'm giving away my business secrets kind of. So I need to charge something for that, or else I'm just going to get screwed over and everybody's going to try to copy my site and like, run with all my money. So I need to charge a little bit of money. So I put that stuff over my shoulder, how to do it, into the course. And I talk about it here. So if it kind of sounds like funny, you have no idea, then get into the course. Jonathan asked another question. Thanks for the questions, Jonathan. Appreciate that. And everybody else, if you have questions, any question at all, drop them in the comments below and let me know where you're viewing in from. I'd love to learn about where you're viewing in from. So far, nobody's dropped that yet, but hopefully you'll have some. By the way, I'm in Bali, Indonesia, if you're just tuning in. Here's my villa and the pool, and it's a beautiful blue sky day today, which is awesome, and it's warm. It rained a lot last night. It's been kind of rainy lately, so I've had a lot of fun working because there's not much else to do out here during lockdown. Let's get into questions again. I needed a little bit of a break right there. Jonathan asks, I add commercial keywords with buyer intent and add a large negative keyword list for my Google Shopping ads. Add commercial keywords with buyer intent and a large negative list for my Google. That's great. I just don't know how you're setting up your Google ad account. What we do is called an inverted funnel. It's a 3-tiered campaign system. I have a whole video training on this separately, but I'll go over it briefly. You have a generic campaign, a brand name campaign, and a model name SKU number campaign. You have high priority, medium priority, low priority, low bid, medium bid, high bid, and you structure your negative keyword list so that keyword search queries get pushed down into higher bids as they're more specific, and you bid high on those product keywords, and you get the sales that way. You'll find, though, that you'll get sales in your brand campaign and generic campaign, too, on certain products. You just got to test stuff out. Thanks for the question, Jonathan. Hope that makes sense. Drop me a comment, let me know if that makes sense. And if you have any more questions about ads, happy to talk to you about that as well. Matthew asks, do you recommend that the supplier lowers the price of the product for the purpose of import taxes for the customer? Supplier lowers the price of the product for the purpose of import taxes. Yeah, I'm an expert in my field. Should have been doing this years ago. Yeah, for sure. It's hard to recommend a supplier lower their price of the product, but you do have to inform your customers that they might have to pay. Okay, I've done international shipping before for high-ticket products and big, bulky ones, and they've had to pay hundreds of dollars sometimes in import taxes and duties. It's just part of the process. Okay, so make sure your customer's aware of that, and that they're going to have to pay it to the shipping company upon receiving it, and hopefully they're okay with it. Thanks for the question, Jonathan. Oh, you're okay. So you're in the UK. That's awesome. Be careful in the UK. I know I've heard some issues with having a American or US based business from the UK as far as taxes go. I think some people are kind of just sort of staying under the radar as far as that goes. Whereas there's some legal double taxation issues with the UK and the US is kind of a pain in the butt. I think the main thing is that somebody said that if they had an LLC that they get double taxed, and if they don't, then they won't, and they had to shut their LLC down to avoid it. Something like that. Definitely be careful with taxes if you're doing it from the UK. Just a little tip there. Okay, guys, so we've talked about high-ticket dropshipping. How to get started. We talked a lot about other things. Talked about business formation. Let's talk about business ethics really quick. Okay, when you're starting a website, you got to be careful. Don't ever copy content from your competitors, okay? It's really good not to copy content from your competitors, especially if they're niche site competitors, because they could file a Google DMCA claim against your website. And they'll complain with the supplier, and maybe the supplier will drop you as a dealer. So I've seen that happen to some people, unfortunately, that went ahead and copied content from a competitor's site, and they withered out pretty quickly, unfortunately. So you can copy content from your supplier's site and then hire a writer to write custom content. You have to do it that way, because if you don't, you're going to get screwed over. Okay. Number two, always have the attitude of great customer support. Okay. And when you're running your business, if a customer's pissed off and they want to return and they want you to pay for the shipping, at the end of the day, the customer's always right. The product is default or faulty or defective. You're just gonna have to return it and eat it. You want to take care of the customer as much as possible, because they have power to go out and file claims with BBB, crazy stuff out there, and they can go crazy. Some people get really emotionally upset when they think they're losing money. Okay, that feeling of loss drives people to do crazy stuff. So you have to be a good business person to the consumer and regard your consumers number one, and provide them refunds when they ask for it. Okay, I do not capture charge until I know a product is either in stock and can ship, or that the customer is willing to pre-order it if it's backward. Okay, I only authorize the charge up front. All right, and because of that, my credit card companies, the merchant processors, don't get mad at me for issuing too many refunds. If you capture the funds and you have to refund, that happens so often, the merchant companies will get pissed off at you, and they might even cancel your account because it costs them money. Basically, they're losing money. Okay, and this has happened to me through PayPal. They've asked me, why do you have so many refunds lately? Because I had stock outs and I took pre-orders, and then the supplier just never came through on it. So be careful with that, folks. And have a policy on your website that explains everything that has to do with pre-orders, stuff like that, clearly. Okay, those kind of things in the very beginning to get through. We're 45 minutes into this training, guys. This is a massive training. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to do this sustainably without having to take a break myself here, just to grab a drink or even go to the toilet or something like that. But we'll see how long I can last. This is kind of a test. And I got a question here on Facebook also, which is awesome. Thanks for tuning in. AFAQ, AFAQ, I probably murdered your name. I'm sorry about that. But I'm wondering where you're from, man. This is awesome. You're tuning in here. He asked, what about the 2Checkout? How can we use it in high ticket? I think 2Checkout is another e-commerce platform, so I'm not exactly sure. I've never used it. Starting budget. He asked a question, what is the starting budget? That's a great one. And let's get into it. That's a good one. Let me take a sip of this really quick now. By the way, this is really good, healthy stuff for you. Pineapple, coconut water, and some other kind of local fruit. Fruit juice is good for your soul, good for your mind, good for your body. Keeps you active, keeps you healthy. All right, so let's get into the upfront costs of high-ticket dropshipping. Number one, you need a website. Okay, I recommend Shopify. Shopify's got a free trial, and right now it's a 90-day free trial. Might as well drop a link to that in here. That's pretty crazy. Obviously that gives you plenty of time to get started up. A 90-day free trial is plenty of time to get going. The only thing is that you cannot use any paid apps, and you're not going to be able to really fully launch your store until you start paying them. It's only $29 a month though, so it's pretty low cost, and you're going to need one of those. Okay, so get your free trial of Shopify. You're going to need a business email account. Okay, business email is really essential because it's going to have your actual domain on it. Now, obviously, you're going to need to buy a domain as well. Okay, so domains can be found through like Namecheap or GoDaddy for very affordable. I think there's some really great deals through Namecheap. I personally just use GoDaddy now because I have all my domains there, but Namecheap has some awesome deals. I'm going to drop a link there. That's the best place to get your domains from, just because it's so freaking cheap all the time. They don't have any high costs. But yeah, and then you're going to need to get your business email. I recommend G Suite for business email. G Suite is awesome because it's an easy to use system. It's all in one. You get access to all the different Google platforms through G Suite, and you're going to be able to set up all your accounts in one thing instead of having like multiple accounts to log into. A lot of people they start with a free Gmail account and then they move on to something else, and it's just kind of a pain in the butt. Then you got to log into all these accounts. So I recommend just set up your G Suite in the beginning, and then you'll have all the accounts in one. You'll have Google Ads, Google Merchant Center, Google Analytics, Google Search Console, Gmail, Calendar, Slides, whatever. It's all through one account. Okay, and yeah, you'll need that. You'll need a phone number. Okay, I recommend getting an 800 phone number, 1-800 phone number, because you're going to look more professional to your suppliers to get them. You're going to look more professional to your customers. Do you have to get one? No, of course. You can just use your cell phone, but are you going to look as professional? Of course not. So if you want to get a 1-800 number and look professional, then I highly recommend using a voice over IP system, which means voice over internet protocol, which is basically on the internet phone. And I recommend one called Grasshopper because they're really easy to use, and they have a mobile app that you can use, and they have an app for your computer desktop. So Grasshopper is great because it's affordable. It's like 30-something bucks a month, and you get an 800 number, and you can do everything through it. You can even text through it. You can do faxes. So it's kind of all in one, and it's a really easy system to use. Okay, this is the tech stack that I use, and it's pretty much everything you need. From there, you just need to create pages on your website, and you need to upload some demo products. Okay. And you need to obviously have chosen your branding, get a logo done. I recommend using Fiverr for really cheap logos. Only 14 days now, really? That sucks. They were doing 90 days for a while there. Maybe they stopped. Well, oh well. Yeah, thanks for that that comment, Crypto King. I thought they were doing 90 days. Darn. Well, I guess that gives you more of a urgency to get your store started as soon as you set up that free trial, right? Anyways, so Fiverr is a great place to get your logo done because it only costs $5 for a logo and $5 for a banner. They do it really good. If you want to do it yourself for free, use Canva. I'll just drop a link here. Use their free version of it. Canva.com is a great place just to make free stuff. But anyways, you need that. And demo products, you really need to upload generic demo products to your website to get it started right. Okay, generic products are going to be the best because then suppliers aren't going to complain that their products are already on your website. Now, if you want to upload suppliers' products that you can't get, like really high brand names in your niche, like the Nike of your niche or something like that, you can do that. But it's not very ethical, right? And you could get like a cease and desist letter if they actually someone found out. So I would recommend uploading generic products to your website. Basically, all you do is you look at your competitor's site and you take those same product listings, but you remove any mention of a brand name, model number, or SKU number. It's only generic names, and it's maybe the same picture. If the picture has like a brand name in it, you can tell it's that brand name, then use a different picture. But try to make a generic listing of that type of product. Make it look like you're private labeling your own products in a sense, okay? You really need only one product category to start and only, maybe like 2 or 3 listings or whatever to make it look professional, okay? You just want to make your website look clean and professional and have lots of content on it and make it look like you are an expert and you know what you're doing. Because the next thing you're going to be doing is calling suppliers. Now, of course, before you do all this, you need to do niche research and find out what niche you want to go and sell into. And there's lots of different product categories you can sell in that are high ticket. I dropped a link in the chat here for my 99 niches list. I recommend getting that. There's a lot of ideas there. You can start off there. You can also look around your local like Ace Hardware, or Walmart or Target or whatever, and you can find high ticket ideas, and then you go online and you research them. What you really want to do is you want to find a competitor site that's already on Shopify, that's kind of doing it new, that looks fairly new and has a really good website, okay? And you want to make sure they don't have a physical brick and mortar address. That's the key. So look around their website and the different pages, see if they have an address listed. If not, great, they're online only. That means that their brands that they're selling are probably drop shipping for them. They're more likely to be drop shipping than if you just took brands off of like Amazon or eBay or whatever, right? Makes a lot of sense. So those brands, if you put them into a list and then you go into Google and you type their name, you should find their website, which will have their contact information on them, which you can then easily call and email them and ask them to set up a dropship account. Okay. If you don't know how to ask a supplier, just think of yourself as a retailer. Hey, how you doing? This is Trevor with eCommerceparadise.com. Let's just whatever the niche site is. I'm interested in selling your products on my website. Want to see if maybe you think it'd be a good fit. Who should I speak to about that? And they say, oh yeah, let me get you over to the dealer, department or whatever. You talk to them. Hey, again, this is Trevor with eCommerceparadise.com. I'm, selling these types of products, and we're doing really well, and we're interested in selling your products. I see your website here, and you have a lot of great products. We also see you're selling on these competitor sites of ours. We're interested to see if you think we would be a good fit for you, because we think you'll be a good fit for us. How can we go about getting started? They'll tell you, okay, great. It might ask you a few more questions, and then you'll say, yeah, we've been in business for this long. This is the market we serve. Can we do this many in sales every year? We plan to do this much more, blah, blah, blah. We market through Google. We do email marketing. We do social media marketing. We do advertising. We can bring a lot of exposure to your brand through our marketplace, blah, 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 blah. Okay. You just go on and on with them, and they're more likely to set up an account with you if you sound professional. You've already looked at their website. You know the product line. You know the niche industry that you're selling in. Okay. They'll send you a dealer agreement. And from there, all you have to do is fill out the dealer agreement with your business information, send it back to them, and they'll create a dealer account for you. Now, every supplier is different. Some suppliers have like a portal, a website you can log into. Some suppliers don't. They just have you in like their QuickBooks account or something like that, okay? Some suppliers have big e-commerce sites that you'll be able to create an account and upload, and some suppliers don't have anything besides like a few pictures in a Dropbox file they'll send you. So it really just depends, okay? And every supplier has different margins also, but you need to ask for a few things from your suppliers. You need to ask for that price sheet, okay? You wanna see the cost, the wholesale cost you're gonna get. You wanna see the minimum advertised price, otherwise known as MAP pricing. And you want to have MSRP as well if they have it. Okay, the reason why you want MAP pricing is because that evens the playing field. That means that your competitors, no matter how big and how gigantic they are and how much purchasing power they have, are going to have to sell for the same price online that you are selling at, so that you have as much of a likelihood of getting that sale as your supplier does, okay? So that's key to doing this and to making it work. Now, can you sell products without MAP? Yes, of course. What you're gonna have to do, you're gonna have to provide bonuses. And the next thing, of course, is you need to ask it, like, especially if your products are high weight and very big, you wanna make sure you ask about the shipping prices, okay? And if, it's like a really big bulky item. Like for instance, a gun safe can weigh up to like 1,000 pounds and cost over $1,000 just to ship with a freight company. Obviously, they're huge and bulky items. They need to be packaged. They need to have a freight truck. They need a pallet. They need a lift. All this stuff. It's insane, right? So you need to be very wary of the shipping costs. Okay, ask your supplier if there's shipping costs added onto the products, and they'll tell you one of two things. They'll say, "Well, we will ship them for you on our freight account, and here is the average cost." And just keep in mind, they're usually adding a little bit of a profit padding to that cost to take care of their handling fees, because they are the ones that have to handle it. The other option is for you to use your own freight company, okay? You can use an app like Freight Club. I recommend Freight Club, and I'll type them in here. Freight Club is an app that plugs right into Shopify, and they're just basically a freight forwarder that will get you the best rates that you can possibly get from any platform, okay? And yeah, it's really good for using them. And if you need to file any kind of a return or whatever, you can easily file that return with Freight Club, and they'll figure it out with you, okay? And it's, again, a lower price usually than what your competitor will supply. The risk there, of course, is that you are gonna have to be the person liable if there's anything wrong with the shipment. If the shipment arrives damaged, you're going to be the one that has to file that claim and wait for that refund for reimbursement. If there's a problem with the shipment and it doesn't get delivered in time, you're the one that has to pay for the time it took for that shipment to be sent out to the customer a few different times before it got delivered. If the customer never answers their phone, never even picks it up, and it gets sent back, you're gonna have to pay for that whole cost in the first place, plus refund the customer. So there is some extra risk involved. And of course, you just have to deal with that. It's just part of this process of delivering products to customers that buy from you, okay? So that's pretty much how it goes with getting suppliers, guys. And if a supplier doesn't want to set up with you, you have to just follow up with them. If a supplier doesn't answer the phone, you just follow up with them, okay? Usually it's like a phone call followed up by an email, where you send an email and then you call them, and it's just kind of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until you get a hold of that person you need to talk to, and you convince them to set up the account. And if they just say no, then you just follow up in a month. If they say no again, you ask them, when can I follow up? Okay, we're growing a lot. We're selling a lot of your competitors' products. We're actually fielding calls, people asking for your products, and we're having to sell the competitors, whereas we'd rather just sell your products. It'd be easier. And whatever it takes to convince them. I had a student one time, a client of mine actually, who had to fly all the way from where he lives on the East Coast out to the West Coast to a supplier's warehouse, their office, and drop in unannounced and speak to the person that he'd been talking to on the phone for a while and get a physical meeting with him just to set up an account, show how dedicated he was, because they weren't setting up new accounts for anybody. So that's the kind of thing you have to go through sometimes. Most of these suppliers will just set you up for free. I'd say like 60 to 80% will set you up no problem. And by the way, you should never pay upfront to get set up with a supplier. Okay, suppliers never are supposed to charge you. The only thing that you might have to do is order inventory up front. Okay, the supplier might have some sort of an issue or a policy where they're going to charge you for inventory before you can actually sell with them. That does happen from time to time. Just tell them no, that's okay, because we spend a lot up front for content marketing. That's what we do. We don't warehouse products, so we cannot buy inventory up front. Okay, so you just don't need to invest in suppliers' products. And if that happens to be an issue, just keep following up and say, hey guys, do you want to go ahead and get us started without an upfront investment? And they should get you going after a while. So supplier recruiting is pretty simple, folks. The key is just understanding that every supplier is different, and that it's going to take some follow-up sometimes to get those suppliers. All right. So we got a question again from Crypto King on YouTube. And by the way, thank you guys so much for the questions. If you're liking this presentation, please hit the like button so that more people can view this video. It helps me get them out to a wider audience. Thanks so much for tuning in. Crypto King asks, how do you deal with returns on high ticket products? Also, would these be returned to you or back to the supplier? Well, we just went over a little bit about that. Let's talk about if it's not like freight and huge and crazy, because sometimes you'll be shipping products and it's not huge and crazy. A lot of times they are kind of like big. It really depends on the situation, okay? So some situations have to do with products being defective and like messed up. Usually that's why people want to return stuff, is they arrive damaged or they arrive defective, okay? You'll just have to get a picture of that defective product from your customer. That's the first thing you try to get, is a picture. And then you send that picture to the supplier and you say, hey, supplier, this is what happened. This is the customer's claim. This is the picture showing it. And then the supplier will send you an email back saying, okay, I understand. Here's what we can do for you. Either they'll have a warranty process they can do, or that they're going to have some sort of a return RMA, return merchandise authorization letter that they send to you, and then you can just process the return. Sometimes, if it's totally defective and not working upon delivery, they'll offer to replace it for free of charge. Sometimes they'll send replacement parts to the customer to fix it, and the customer's going to have to fix it on their own or pay for some labor to get it fixed. And this really can vary between niche to niche, because some products are more complicated than others. But usually what happens is that, hopefully what happens is that it goes smoothly. The customer either gets the replacement product and they keep their order, or they get the replacement parts and they fix it and they keep their order. What can happen sometimes though is that either they're just too upset about it and they just want to return the product, they just get a different product, or they get the replacement part and they don't want to pay for the labor, or they just can't fix it somehow, or they get the replacement part and even that one's messed up, okay? So like, I've had nightmare situations like that before, and it's just kind of crazy. You just have to work through it between the supplier and the customer back and forth until a resolution is met. Sometimes customers can be irate, and you have to just deal with it in a professional manner. Do not get irate back to them, okay? Always be happy, always be nice, always be kind and understanding and empathetic towards the customer's needs. Let them know things like, I understand where you're coming from. And yes, you are 100% correct. I agree with you. And we're going to try to, solve this situation and get this make this right for you. Okay. The best thing you can do is calm the customer down if they're emotionally outraged. And once they become calm, it's a lot easier to work with them. Very rarely, sometimes you'll have a representative out of a manufacturer and a supplier get irate with you. And that's a really awkward situation because this is somebody who you're supposed to be kind of married to in a sense in business and be able to do business with. And if they're getting irate with you, it kind of goes to show that they're probably not a good supplier to work with for the long run, that it's going to be a lot of issues. I've actually just had that happen recently again, and I had to drop that supplier because of the issues that we had with the rep that was at the supplier, which happened to actually, I think, be one of the owners or actually one of the leaders over there got irate with me or with my customer service representative, and my customer service representative was being nice. He actually got mad that she was being so happy over the phone with him. It was the strangest situation. So honestly, guys, you'll run into a lot of weird things in business. It's just how it works. This is business, just like any other business, okay? But yes, you always deal with returns in respect to your supplier's return policy. And if you have your supplier's return policy on your website, it'll be very, very easy and very simple to process returns. Okay, I think this is going on an hour now, guys. We've been going on an hour. This is awesome. So happy. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you guys are getting value out of this, definitely let me know in the comment section and like the video and share this with your friends, okay? Let's keep it going. We got a question on Facebook here from Afak. Thank you so much for tuning in again. He says, one of your videos said you are preparing to list how to access. Also, please tell me about how to hack Shopify for suppliers that are in competitive niche. When you're in a competitive niche, it's very, very difficult to get those suppliers sometimes that you really want to get, like the gold suppliers, because they're already fixated on a few dealers that have done really good for them. So again, to get those suppliers, you just have to follow up like crazy, and sometimes you're just not going to get them. So here's a little hack on how to still get sales and steal sales from those suppliers that won't approve you. Make blog posts about those suppliers' products, those long tail keywords, the suppliers' products. Make them about the product. Make a review of that product on your blog. And at the bottom of the review, talk about why you don't recommend them buying those products, why you would recommend them buying products from another supplier that's very similar that you actually sell, and send them to that product page, okay? It's a little bit of a hack that I do to get sales. Another thing you can do is actually make a blog article that's this versus that. So supplier's product versus that you can't get versus the one that you have. And then highly recommend the one you have over your supplier's product. Later on, when you start getting traffic and they start seeing that happening, you can call them and say, hey guys, I've actually made some content, and unfortunately we've had to sell our, your competitors' products to potentials. And did you see the blog post we made? And they might get a little upset at first. They might hate you for it, but in the long run, they might realize it might make a lot more sense for them to actually work with you as opposed to not work with you, okay? And if they worked with you, of course, you can just change the links in those blog articles and everything's hunky-dory. All right, so a good hack there. So we talked a lot about how to get started with this stuff now, guys. I mean, by now you should have a pretty basic understanding of how this business model works. You should have some idea on different niches that you can choose and different niches you can start up with. You should have some ideas on how you can start your website and how you can find suppliers. And the next things we talked about are like setting up all your apps. You got to have some conversion optimization apps. If you just go to the Shopify App Store, you can get really good ideas on what apps serve you for conversion optimization. Just type in or search those different categories and see what they provide. There's a lot of great features. I use a Shopify theme called Shoptimize. That's one of the best out there. I highly recommend them over other themes because they're kind of built for high-ticket dropshipping, which is really cool, as well as other ones. And I'll link to it in the description below. And if you're interested in actually buying it, I recommend using it through my link because you'll get a $20 off coupon if you buy the Pro version, which will give you access to 3 theme licenses so you can have them on free stores to start with. But you got to think about the theme you're going to start with in the beginning. There's other themes out there too, like Booster theme, which I also have used and recommend, but I recommend Shoptimize theme more because it has a better description layout than Booster theme does. It's made more for high-ticket products. Yeah, on high-ticket products, you have to have a really good sales page. Okay, like a really filled, laid out sales page. If you don't, it's less likely to sell. Okay, that's just kind of bottom line stuff. And a lot of the apps, there's going to be versions of that for WooCommerce. Matthew's just asking, is it the same for WooCommerce? Yes, you can definitely find the same apps for WooCommerce. They're obviously plugins instead of apps, and you just got to find that. Now, be very careful with WordPress plugins, right? Especially free ones. When you add a new plugin, sometimes it'll interfere with another plugin. This is another issue I always had where like my site would go down randomly just because I had a plugin that I installed to do one conversion feature, optimization feature, and then another one that I already had, and they just didn't play nicely together for some reason, and it would just shut the website down. And I had to have a coder go in there and disable all the plugins through the back door of that website, however that works, and then re-enable one at a time to see which one was the problem. And that was another issue I had with WooCommerce, that it's just with WordPress in general, just kind of stuff. But if you're very careful with the apps, of course, you can find ones that work and use those for your store. And if you know PHP or coding yourself, or have somebody that does, you can definitely make a really cool store with that. So let's get more into the next step, which is like uploading products. Now, uploading products to your store can be a very tedious process, okay? Suppliers, sometimes they'll have like 1 or 2 products, 10 products. Sometimes they'll have hundreds of products to upload, and it's just a crazy situation. So what I have is virtual assistants to do the work for me. Now, I used to use Fiverr, but the problem with Fiverr is that you never know who's really uploading those products. So oftentimes they'll make mistakes, like weird mistakes. They won't make the name correctly. They'll make a mistake on the price, all this stuff. And we're uploading hundreds of products. It's very difficult to go through and double check somebody's work. So I highly recommend either you do them yourself, or you hire a full-time virtual assistant for the data entry of adding products to your website, and have them double check their own work, okay? Using a third-party agency and like a Fiverr gig is probably just gonna lead to problems. It certainly did for me, so I don't recommend doing that. And by the way, if you're looking for freelancers that are really good, that cost a really low rate, I recommend Online Jobs. I use them, and I have a team of over 10 people now from the Philippines that do this work for me. Online Jobs is an awesome resource because they have basically people that are willing to work for like a few bucks an hour to do data entry and the product uploading, and they're really smart people. You can train them using videos like I do, and it's basically a very straightforward process for them, okay? But here's a few tips on product uploading. Number 1, make a good product description that includes all the keywords that you want to target. The first keyword is, of course, your brand name keyword. The second keyword is a model name keyword. The third keyword is some kind of a category keyword, or like a subcategory keyword. And the fourth keyword is a SKU keyword, okay? You might want to include other descriptive keywords as well, depending on the niche, but that's usually the best title to have, is those 4 or 5 different types of keywords in the title. You don't want to make it too long, like crazy, like keyword stuffing like eBay with the generic keywords, but you do want to have a descriptive keyword with the brand, the model number or model name, the category and subcategory, maybe another descriptive keyword or whatever, and the SKU number at the end of it, okay? Because when all those things are in the title, then what you can do is take that from the title, add it to the description a few different times. When somebody types into Google, you're more likely to rank organically. You're also more likely for that feed to work really well for Google ads, especially Google shopping ads, okay? When you're making a product description, you can always just copy and paste from your supplier's website. That's the first thing I usually do, but in the long run, you want to make a custom product description yourself. And a custom product description takes a long time to make if you're doing it yourself, okay? And you have to have some copywriting training. So what I usually recommend is hiring a full-time copywriter, someone who's going to have the time to research your niche and your target market and actually make a really good product description with good copywriting and talking to that particular niche, target markets, needs, wants, desires, and itches and whatnot. All right. Another thing you should definitely do is include multimedia in your product descriptions. So add pictures of all the features, and if you can, if it's available, and add a video if it's available from your supplier. You can even like upload their supplier's video, or download it, upload it to your own channel with like an intro, outro, that kind of thing, and get better SEO that way. But yes, that's definitely a good thing to do. And have some sort of call to action, somewhere that just tells somebody to buy. And on the product page, you want to definitely have some conversion optimization features. You want to have reviews for social proof. You want to have trust seals for trust signals. You want to have urgency in the form of a countdown timer and an expiring coupon code. You want to have scarcity in the form of low stock on hand. You want to have a low price guarantee, like a price match, that kind of thing. And if your supplier doesn't have map pricing, then you can put that on your price matching page that you don't cover it with that supplier, that kind of thing. And you want to have your unique selling proposition. So all the different things that are unique about you, like your free shipping or easy returns, lifetime technical support, and some kind of call to action to call you. Because if a customer calls you, it's more likely that you can get them to order over the phone as opposed to if they're just on your website. All right. So if you're just tuning in now, we've been talking for about an hour now on high-ticket dropshipping. Welcome, and definitely hit that like button and let me know where you're watching from in the comments below. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, drop them in this live chat, and I'm happy to help you. All right, so let's talk about the different types of pages you're going to need on your website before you start. Number 1, you're going to need an about page. It's a really good thing to do, a nice in-depth about page. Now, you don't need to actually have yourself on there. You can use an alias, and as an alias, you can come up with a fictional character and make that person like the founder of your business and stuff like that. And then when you contact suppliers, you'll say you're the marketing manager, okay? A lot of companies do this just to protect their privacy. And on the about page, you want to have everything that's about your company. You want to have your unique selling proposition. You want to tell them that you're an expert, and you want to describe to them why they should buy from you as opposed to competition. Okay, the longer the about page and the more materials on it, the more pictures, the more videos, that kind of stuff, the better. And when sometimes, if you have like a really good social cause in there too, customers will just buy from you simply because you're supporting a social cause, okay? Like for instance, to support the Black Lives Matter movement, what I've done on my niche stores is I've actually uploaded images of like really, especially if your target market, has a large subsection of that particular audience, make sure that you're reaching out to that audience and supporting that. All right, you're gonna need a contact page. Contact pages are really important because obviously if they don't know how to contact you right away, number one, they're less likely to order from you. And also, if they have a problem, they're gonna be pissed off that they can't even find you. So have a good contact page that has your phone number, your actual mailing address, and contact form and an email address. And you can add an FAQ section to your contact page. I always recommend doing that because it just kind of solves problems. Like if they have simple questions about shipping times or return processes or whatever, you can have an FAQ section right there in the contact page. So if they have some question that's easy to answer, you can just get it answered easily right then and there, okay? You're gonna need let's see, what's the next one? Returns policy. Returns, and usually you wanna include some information about shipping in there as well, like a shipping and returns page, but return policy is really important. Google Merchant Center actually looks for a page called refund policy on your website. So usually now I just label it returns and refunds. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I've had issues with that before. They want to know how you're going to deal with returns and refunds with your customers. So you need to have a clear system on that. Usually, like I said before, I upload my suppliers' return and refund policies to my website. Okay, I have a separate section on that one page for each supplier. Or you can just link to a separate page, of course. And obviously, you need a privacy policy page and a terms and conditions page. Those are required. Luckily, Shopify has templates, and you can easily just get that information templated over. Of course, you want to get in there and customize it for your particular niche and company. All right, guys, so let's answer a few questions. I went through a lot of stuff right now. We kind of got to that point where we have products uploaded. It's really exciting. We've set some conversion optimization features here. Yeah, let's get some questions answered. Let's see here. Miss Dragon 9 says, hello, Miss, and thanks for tuning in here. Uncle Unreal Ben has a question. Okay, let's see. He's asking, can someone under the age of 18 start a business? Yes, you can. You need to go and figure out exactly how to do it with your bank. Usually is the first place to ask a business banker. Sometimes they'll require you to co-sign with parents, okay? And that's usually the process you have to go through, especially it's like everything, getting a loan, stuff like that, setting up accounts. You gotta have your parents co-sign on it because you're gonna need some trust, okay? But if you're a kid and you can have your parents co-sign with you on an account, usually that'll work just fine. All right, and let's see, watching from France. That's awesome. What's up, France? What time is it out there? It must be pretty late, right? Shoot, thanks for tuning in. That is awesome. I wish I knew some French. I could speak French. Bonsoir, right? Okay, cool. Let's move on here. Let's see, technical question from Nick. So no, because I don't make revenue here in Bali. I make revenue in the States. All my business is in the States. I'm physically located here. They don't know that. Okay, and they don't need to know that. According to them, I'm physically located in Seattle, Washington, actually, at my virtual office address or my sister's house, which is what the banks require, which is physical residence. Where I'm actually physically present at the moment doesn't really matter because I'm not making money here. I don't run any kind of business here. I only am a tourist, kind of just a long-term tourist abroad. Okay, that's how it works with digital nomads. Usually you can get long-term visas, like for instance in Bali, in Indonesia. So what I did was I went to the San Francisco Indonesian consulate over there and I got a long-term business visa, which is a 1-year visa where it costs about $300 to $500. You can pay a company in Indonesia to sponsor you to get it, which you need. And you'll be able to stay for an entire year. You have to leave every 60 days and come back. It's called a visa run. And it's really easy to do. Just go to a neighboring country like Malaysia or the Philippines or Thailand. I usually just do that. And it costs very little as well. And out here in Bali, of course, you can get these really nice villas and big places for like, you know, 500 to $1,000 a month. I'm currently out here in Bali right now. I'll kind of show you my villa pool, what it looks like. It's really nice. That's the outdoor area. Things are kind of dark in here. That's the kitchen. It's an open style. It's because it's so warm, doesn't really matter. So, yep. And this one costs about, well, it's coronavirus times. This is literally right in the middle of the Legian area. So normally it's like $2,000 a month. It's only $700 a month right now. Usually I'm staying outwards, like towards like Seminyak, Canggu, which if you don't know, Bali is on the west coast, and it's a very hot tourist area where a lot of digital nomads hang out and surf and work at co-working spaces and cafes. Okay, so if you're ever in Bali, hit me up. Let me know. I'm happy to come and hang out and mastermind with you at a coffee shop or anything like that. Find me on Facebook at just type in Trevor Fenner into Facebook. You'll find me pretty easily. Oh, okay, it's 9 in the morning. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Well, good morning. Let's see. Yep. So that's it there. Let's look at Facebook and see if there's any more questions. And there's not. Looks like the Facebook Live may still be going, but I'll keep going here on YouTube anyways. All right, guys. So the next thing we'll talk about is, let's see here. We talked about conversion optimization. Let's talk about social media marketing. Let me take a sip of this juice here really quick. So good. Juice, guys, best thing for you, especially pineapple juice after you drink a lot. I've been drinking a lot of wine during this hangover for some reason, or during this pandemic, and every morning I wake up and it's not that bad, but like I really need some juice to get going during the day. Hope you guys are all doing well, staying safe and stay inside, but also get out for your exercise as needed. Okay, so for social media marketing, here's the thing with high ticket drop shipping, it's good for building a community and social proof, okay? But it's not absolutely required to start, and you're not gonna be using Facebook ads for, you know, traffic to your website right away, and especially not for cold leads, okay? So Facebook organic marketing is really good for long-term scaling. But generally speaking, all you're going to be doing on Facebook with high-ticket dropshipping in the very beginning is using them for retargeting advertising, okay? Retargeting ads means that somebody who's already landed on your website is now going to Facebook, and then they see your ad and they click back. And you can set up really easily using an app called Retarget App. Retarget App. I don't have any kind of referral link for them, so you just have to type that into the Shopify App Store. It's really easy to set up. They target anybody who's been on your website in the last 30 days. They show that same product to them using a dynamic product ad for Facebook, and then they get that, and they might go back to your website and order. And on average, I usually get like a 100, 200x return on ad spend. In other words, someone spends $100 and they then order something worth like $1,000 or $2,000 from me, and that's the return on ad spend. Now, as far as profit goes, of course, we're looking like 20 or 30% profit. So, as far as profit return on ad spend goes, maybe it's like closer to 10 or 20x, but still it's decent. It's a good way to get people back to your website and ordering from you, okay? The more places people see you, like their Facebook feed, their email account, when they're searching on Google, the more likely they are to trust you and see your professional business. You've been around a long time, and the more likely they are to order from you. Okay, organic marketing is great in the sense of building a community and getting social proof, and you can promote that through your website, and you can also then market to people. But the problem with Facebook pages, of course, is these days their reach is very low, and it pays better just to do simple Facebook ads than to put too much effort into building a Facebook page. A Facebook group, on the other hand, is really good. If you have a niche community in a very passionate niche around a particular topic, you can have a Facebook group and grow that in your niche community, and then create a sales funnel with email marketing, which I'm going to talk about next. And that sales funnel can be used to drive people into your content and through your content to your product pages to buy stuff that maybe normally would have gone to your competitors, okay? We're going to get more into content later. Guys, I am just like halfway through this presentation. I've got so much more to talk about. It's insane. I'm so happy to have all of you on here. Thank you so much for the likes. If you're tuning in, hit that like button. I appreciate every like I get. Drop in the comment box and the chat box. Let me know where you're viewing in from. And also, if you have any questions, I'm happy to help. Drop them in the chat box. I'm answering questions as I go. Let's get going still more. Next is email marketing, okay? So email marketing is really exciting because it's one of the best ways to reach your customers because it's free. once you get a large list, you'll have to pay a monthly fee to maintain that list. But besides that, it's free to send emails to your audience, which is really cool because with other platforms, like for instance, Instagram, you just post a post on Instagram. It might not get shown to anybody. Even if you have a big following, you can get a very low engagement rate sometimes because the algorithm doesn't pick it up, okay? But with email lands in somebody's inbox, they're gonna see it. Now, the trick with email is using really catchy headlines in the subject lines to get people to open it, and then using really good copywriting to get people to click the link. And then where you send them, you have to make sure that that has really good copy as well to get them to take action, okay? And email can have all different types of effect on people. You can use it to just promote content from your website. You can use it to sell products. You can use it to promote sales, all sorts of stuff like that. Now, I use an app called Klaviyo, and I'll put my affiliate link here in the description. And if you click that and sign up through there, you'll be giving me credit. I appreciate that. Klaviyo is an awesome program. I use them for my email marketing, and they're a great way to get set up and started because they tie in directly with Shopify. So if you use Shopify and Klaviyo together, you'll be able to create emails that are just like those Facebook retargeting ads where they actually show the products the person looked at on your website right there in the emails. They're really good for sales emails, and I use them because not only do they do that, but they're also really good for segmenting lists between product categories. So for instance, you can have it where like you send a certain series of emails to somebody who viewed a certain product category on your website as opposed to other ones and things like that. Great for broad websites, great for niche websites. I highly recommend using email marketing for obviously pre-sales, like selling to people, but also post-sales. Upselling people and providing really important information about products. Because with high-ticket dropshipping, people need to be aware of the products they're buying, okay? And you need to make them aware of, number one, what it's gonna take to like install or assemble or set up the product, what it's gonna look like when it's getting delivered and how the process is gonna be. What they need to know if it's a freight delivery, like, hey, you need to inspect the package first before you sign for it, or you're actually gonna be basically writing off your liability for that. And if you have a problem with it later, you're gonna have to pay to ship it back, okay? So that's kind of how freight works, right? So you gotta make them aware of that first. You have content on your website, and what you usually do is you take the content from your website and you then put it into your email marketing and you send it to your customer, okay? Because people kind of like to be spoon-fed. Consumers like it to be made really easy for them to learn how to deal with the products that they're getting from you. Usually a good supplier will send a manual with the product, with descriptions. They'll even have made already like assembly installation videos and things like that. But not all suppliers are that great, okay? Not all suppliers do that, especially the newer suppliers that haven't made those materials yet. They might even just use the manuals directly from China that have like really bad English or maybe no English at all. So you have to be very mindful of what kind of an experience the customer is going to have with the supplier because they're shipping direct, right? You don't get to have that package first before you send it to them. So like if you wanted to send some sort of promotional materials with the package to your customers, you could do that. You could like print out some leaflets or whatever, or even have like some kind of merchandise, send it to your supplier, tell them, hey, every time we get an order, can you drop one of these in the box with it? And the supplier will then do that. The customer will have a better experience. They'll be more likely to come back to you later on, that kind of thing. So it's a very cool way to enhance the customer experience, which is what we're really trying to do here, guys. We're trying to make an amazing customer experience. We're trying to wow them so much more than they would get wowed by going to like Amazon or Walmart or Target, whatever, some other big online store, Overstock, that they want to come back to us because of the feeling that we gave them. We gave them a good feeling just through the pre-sale support. We gave them a good feeling when they got the product. We gave them a good feeling after they got the product. We have everything for them, and we're following up, and we're treating them really good, okay? And especially when it comes to issues, customer issues, and things that happen that are bad, okay? If you treat a customer really good through one of those times, then they'll come back to you and they'll actually really, really appreciate that. And it's good karma, it's goodwill, it's gonna help you grow your business way bigger, okay? Email marketing should definitely be used all the time. Do not ever be afraid to send your list emails, okay? Just don't be too spammy all the time. Mix up your promotional emails with really good high quality content emails, okay? I would say, it's usually like Gary V's jab, 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 hook. I think that's how it is that you send a few different promotional or a few different really good high quality content emails, and then you get them with a promotional sequence, okay? What I usually do with promotional sequences is I do them in a launch format. So I warm them up, that I get them excited about the launch, and then I tell them when it's gonna happen so that they're ready for it. They're excited to see it. And then also, I'm only sending the actual emails of the sale when it's happening to the people that have shown interest in it. So I'm not spamming the rest of my list. I'm only sending it to people that have actually shown interest in it. It's more likely to get opened, seen, and clicked and bought at that point, okay? So keep in mind, email marketing is all about permission marketing, and it's all about not spamming people and providing them value up front, okay? So that's email marketing in a nutshell. That's my favorite tool for it. Let me know if you guys have any questions about that. Hit that like button if you're just tuning in. And I'm going to keep going here. I got a lot more to talk about. High ticket dropshipping is pretty amazing, and you can do a lot to scale these days. It's pretty cool. They've been going on for a long time now, an hour and a half almost. Pretty amazing. My voice is starting to get kind of cracky, but I don't really care. I'm going to use this video, this replay of this video a bunch of different times, a bunch of different ways, to help more people out there. So thank you for tuning in, and definitely share this video with your audience through Facebook and also, other platforms you use. Okay, let's talk about lead generation. So how are you even going to start email marketing in the first place without leads to email to, right? You have to get leads, but how do you do that? Well, lead generation is really simple, but first you have to have some kind of an offer that's usually free or very low price, okay? When it comes to high ticket dropshipping, what we're usually doing is offering a discount code, a coupon. Sometimes, with other websites or even with high ticket dropshipping, you can offer somebody a free guide, like a free buying guide, but it usually comes next because a discount code is just so much more appealing to somebody, especially for a pop-up that shows them, say, hey, get $100 off. It's like, whoa, okay, yeah, heck yeah, I'll take $100, So we usually use that for the lead. And what we use is some kind of lead generation software, an app like a Shopify app, to have a pop-up show up when somebody is about to leave the website. So you can have a pop-up show up when somebody arrives, and then you can have a pop-up show up like after a certain time period, and you can have a pop-up show up when somebody's leaving the website, called an exit intent pop-up. And those are really useful. And I recommend an app called Wheelio, or any other kind of Wheelio style apps where you have like a play to win, kind of enter to win, spin to win app. Okay, spin to wins are really cool. I think there's even an app called Spin to Win. So just type those into the Shopify App Store, and they're really neat because they get a way higher conversion rate. It's kind of like a gamified version of lead generation. Okay, and you can set up as to which ones are going to win and stuff like that. It's kind of like you can choose your own things that win, and of course they'll never lose. That's the cool thing too, is that they're always going to win something. Okay, so it feels good to the consumer. People love that kind of stuff. Use it. It gets double the conversion rate of other just regular pop-ups I've found. All right, and usually we're giving somebody a coupon code like around 5% or $50 or $100. It really depends. There's site-wide coupon codes. Okay, coupon codes you can use across the site, and then there's product-specific coupon codes. Sometimes we put specifically on the product pages to compete more in that niche with our competitors. Maybe it's like it offers a little bit more or something like that. Okay, so there's that as well. WooCommerce, of course, you can use something like Sumo. Sumo is a good tool. What else is good? Monster something. There's a lot of tools. Just go into the plugins store on WordPress.org and search for pop-up apps. I'm sure there's a lot of good stuff in there. I forget the exact names of those. I haven't used them in a while. I used Sumo though recently, so you can use that on almost any website actually. And once you get those leads, of course, nurturing them first and then selling to them later is important. Okay. But follow-up is key, and especially lead generation for phone calls. When people are calling you over the phone on a high-ticket dropshipping store, those are really hot leads, especially if they know what they want. So it's really important that you try to close the sale over the phone. Okay, just know that if they get off the phone with you, if they say, "Oh, let me think about it later," you're probably not going to get the sale, and they're probably going to go to a competitor. Give them a reason to buy now. Hey, if you're thinking about buying it, and you're thinking about going to a competitor to look around and see if you can get better pricing, get a better offer, just know that we have the best offer out there. I can give you an extra thing if you buy it right now. I can give you this, you know what I mean? Like just kind of add on like bonuses and until they're ready to just do it right then and there. Because really just got to get people in that emotional buying state. And you got to give them a reason to get there with you, okay? So lead generation that way could be done through a spreadsheet simply, or just even a notepad. You just take their lead information down and you process it, and you follow up with them, okay? Abandoned carts are another thing that you really need to focus on. With Shopify, you can see your abandoned carts if you go to orders, abandoned carts. It's different with WooCommerce, but abandoned carts are key. Now you can set up an automated email sequence, but it's actually kind of cool to call somebody after they've abandoned their cart on your website. You can do that too, okay? They'll leave a phone number there, so just call them up as soon as you see it, and boom, you might even just get the sale, okay? Because people are very fickle sometimes. They're just looking for a good deal, just looking at the end of the day, what is this versus that? I'll just go with them. If you call them right away, you might even still get that order. All right, guys, so that's really lead generation in a nutshell. It's pretty simple. Obviously, you just want to get as many leads as you can because the more leads equals more sales. Okay, it's really just a numbers game. E-commerce conversion rates are somewhere between 1% and 2% on average. So that means that for every 100 leads, you should get about 1 to 2 sales. Okay, so if you're getting like a few leads a day, it's probably just not enough. You need more leads, just simply put. All right, so excited to talk about the next topic because this is the one that I've had particular success with and a lot of my colleagues have as well, and I know you will if you follow my lead here, which is Google advertising for high-ticket products. Okay, so first and foremost, we understand that we are not going to be dropshipping high-ticket products from China. We are only high-ticket dropshipping products from domestic US suppliers, getting authorized dealer agreements with them, being able to take advantage of their warranty and returns policies, dropshipping them only to domestic customers, not dealing with international shipping and international stuff. Okay, first and foremost, so in Google Ads, you're only going to be targeting people in the US. You're not going to target people outside of the US. So I just want to make that very, very clear. With Google Ads, you can target internationally, right? But you don't want to do that. Obviously, if you target people in Europe and you can't, really it's a hard time shipping them all the way to Europe, then it's probably not a good idea to target them in Google Ads, okay? So when you set up your Google Ads, make sure you're only targeting the US. And one good thing to think about is do not just choose the basic United States. Make sure that you choose the states within the United States, or at least exclude Alaska, Puerto Rico, and Hawaii, because when it comes to shipping high-ticket products, they might as well be international because it's very expensive to ship there. My Sean McCraney asked me a question. Do you think you'll be having a retreat? Yeah, man, for sure. Probably in 2021 when all this stuff with coronavirus goes away and travel gets back to normal again. Definitely going to be having some kind of a retreat. No promises though, but thanks for jumping in, buddy. I appreciate you. My Sean's been in the community for a long time, and yeah, I know you're doing big things out there, my Sean, so keep it up. Hope you're being safe where you're at as well. Matthew asks, what about UK from China? Well, it's just the same deal. Whenever you're dropshipping directly from the manufacturer in China, you're becoming the supplier. You take on all those legal responsibilities of the warranty and the returns. So if it's high ticket, you have higher risk. Okay, if something arrives damaged or defective, you're gonna have to do a refund. You're probably gonna deal with a lot of chargebacks and stuff like that. If you do this, it's just not really that sustainable. I recommend if you're gonna do anything directly from China that you import it to a warehouse and private label it first, and then you package it and just become a brand. Okay, just invest in that. All right, so Google Ads are awesome. Now, the #1 type of Google ad that I recommend running for high-ticket dropshipping stores is Google Shopping ads, aka product listing ads, they used to be known as. I think now most people just know them as Google Shopping ads because Google Shopping is the platform people go to buy stuff from on Google. When you search a product name into Google, it'll usually show you a line of ads at the top that have pictures, and then the name, the store name, and the price point, some kind of special offer. There's usually like 5 or 6 of them. That's Google Shopping ads, okay? They used to be on the sidebar as well. Sometimes they still are. It just depends where you're at and what you're searching for. But yes, if you click the Google Shopping tab, you also see the rest of it there. And on the left-hand side, you can see all the sellers and all the brands, and you can see all the different offers, okay? So Google Shopping people buy from because they're basically being pre-qualified for it, okay? They see the product right there. They see the price of the product, and they see the store name, and they see the offer. So you're basically pre-qualifying the customer, and it's obviously at the top of Google. It's like one of the only things on Google that has pictures besides YouTube videos, like if they show up the image in search, and maybe maps on the side too. Okay, so it's usually above all of that stuff. So it's the first image you'll see with Google search. And since Google is the top search engine, Bing is kind of the second one, which mimics Google. So everything I talk about here on Google can kind of be used for Bing as well. But Google Ads are the best. Okay, so let's talk about Google Shopping ads. Now, Google Ads has changed over the years. They changed their platform, the way it looks and stuff like that. They've actually made a thing called smart shopping ads now. It's for people that don't know what they're doing, okay? And basically what they're just using is data and intelligence they've used from all these different search queries and sales and conversion data. And they're trying to match up more likely queries that are more likely to convert to your actual ad dollar that you spend, okay? So when you're doing a Google Shopping ad campaign, it's really important to understand that Google Shopping ads, you cannot choose the keywords that you target. That's the main thing. Google chooses them for you, okay? What you do is you submit a feed, a product feed to Merchant Center, right? Which is a separate Google product, Google Merchant Center. And then that Merchant Center you tie to Google Ads, which then uses that feed to formulate whether a search query is relevant to your product category or not, which product to show, products maybe to show. And then, of course, they will show your products for you, okay? It's kind of an automated way to do ads, which is why I love it so much. So in order to do it really good, you have to have a good feed, which means you have to have really good keywords in your feed. So the product title needs to have all your keywords in it. The product description needs to have all of your keywords in it, okay? It needs to be really well laid out with content. The more content, the better. So Google understands what this product's all about. It's able to better match it to the queries. And of course, you'll get better results that way. So it kind of starts there. The same foundation of SEO and content will help you get way better return on ad spend over the long run, all right? And the best thing you can do when you first start with Google Shopping ads is just understanding the difference between a generic category keyword, a brand keyword, and a model name or SKU number keyword. I already talked about these in the product titles, right? But it comes in handy, really handy when you're talking Google ads. Because when you're talking Google ads specifically, you have to segment your ads, okay? So what I do is I create 3 campaigns, 3 shopping campaigns. The first one is going to be a high priority, which basically means it's going to show up first. And you choose this in the settings and you're setting it up, okay? High, medium, or low priority. There's only 3 options, by the way, priorities. High priority is for generic keywords, basically category keywords, subcategory keywords, things like that. Sometimes even informational keywords. Google will choose those, okay? The second one is a medium campaign, and I usually choose to make that for the brands, and then the low priorities for the product names and the model names and SKU numbers. And the way you get this to work right is that you bid really low on the high priority campaign, you bid a little bit higher on the medium, and you bid about higher on the low priority campaign. And the way you make it work is with negative keyword lists. Negative keyword lists are going to be, there's 3 lists, okay? First of all, your generic keywords that are irrelevant to your product catalog. Keywords you don't want to be bidding on at all. You can apply those to all 3 campaigns. You make a list of those, and you usually make them phrase match search, phrase match keywords, basically. The next list is your brands list, okay? You make a list of all your brand names, phrase match them, and apply that only to the high priority campaign. So it gets pushed down, any query gets pushed down that includes that brand keyword into the second tier campaign. The third list you'll make is for your product names, model names, SKU numbers. You'll put all your model names and SKU numbers in there, phrase match or modified broad match, whatever, and you apply that to the generic and the brands campaign, the first and second tier, so that any long tail keyword that types into Google gets pushed all the way down into your high bid campaign, and so you rank the highest, you're most likely to get those sales. So that's kind of the secret sauce behind it. If you want to actually see me set it up and show you how to do it over my shoulder, you'll have to get into my high ticket dropshipping masterclass, which I'll leave a link here if you guys are interested in actually seeing that over the shoulder training. Some people just simply don't have the money or don't want to spend the money, which I totally understand. Keep watching my videos, try to do it on your own. You might figure it out on your own. But if you just want some straight up direct, obvious information over my shoulder how to do it. I got some great feedback that I have one of the best Google Ads modules and all these courses that you find online, so definitely check that out. That's the simplicity behind Google Shopping Ads. And usually what you have to do over time is check the search terms that are actually showing up. All you do is go to keywords and search terms, and you see and make sure that they're relevant to the campaigns, okay? If you have product keywords, showing up in your brand's campaign, then you obviously need to add those as negatives to your product list, okay? If you have generic keywords showing up in your product campaign, there's probably some sort of a model name that's very generic that's, you need to remove or make more of a modified broad match so that you have the brand name plus the model name or the model name plus the category, that kind of a thing. So you got to figure out how to make your search terms show up correctly to make it work right. And then over time, you can look at the settings and you can bid up. You can make bid adjustments for the type of device people are using, or the time of day, or the day of the week, or even the location in the United States that they're viewing in from, okay? So those are all great things to do as well. So there's Google Shopping Ads in a nutshell, guys. And if that was useful, definitely drop a comment in there and say yes, and hit that like button, okay? All right, folks. Got 7 people viewing right now. It's about 3:20 in the afternoon. Going on an hour and a half, actually, which is amazing. And I'm excited to keep this going. I got so much more to cover with you guys. It's amazing. Let's talk a little bit more about Google Ads before I move on to other stuff. Okay, Google Ads can also be used for search text ads and remarketing ads on Display Network. It can also be used for, I don't recommend it, but cold ads on the Display Network, and YouTube ads, which can be used for remarketing or cold ads. So what I recommend doing in the very beginning is actually just setting up a very broad, maybe like a 30-day retargeting campaign using the display network and your product feed. They're called dynamic remarketing ads. It's kind of the same thing you'll be doing with Facebook, but on Google's display network, which is basically a lot of blogs people look at across the web. So it's another place people will see you after they land on your website. Okay, they'll see you on their Facebook feed, they'll see you in their emails, they'll see you on the blogs they're looking at, and maybe even the YouTube videos they're watching. And they'll think, gosh, these people are all over the place. And yes, I'm interested. Okay, let me just buy it, So it's more likely you'll get sales then if you keep showing that your ads to people across networks. And the last thing I should recommend you doing is once products start selling, you see bestsellers, I recommend you set up search text ads for them, okay? Because then you can get more real estate and more likely to get more leads, which will result in more sales. You do have to be careful with that when products go out of stock, but if you're taking back orders and processing them, it really shouldn't be that big of a deal. And you don't have to bid that high. Keep your bids low, especially in the beginning, folks. And Google will try to spend your money. If you bid high, they're going to spend a lot more of it, okay? So keep that in mind. All right, so that was Google Ads in a nutshell. I'm not going to talk about YouTube ads because they're not really relevant to high-ticket dropshipping. They're more relevant to like services and information products. High-ticket dropshipping, Google Ads, generally speaking, are only going to be, YouTube ads are only going to be useful in the sense that you'll be showing your shopping ads on YouTube videos. So sometimes people see a YouTube video, they'll actually see shopping ads below it now. And if your ads are there, those are probably the most useful for you. Doing YouTube video ads don't really make sense for this business model until you have your own brand, okay? We already talked about Facebook ads, so I'm kind of going to skip past that because retargeting is really simple. Bing ads are basically a copy of Google ads. So in order to set up Bing ads, it's just Bing Merchant Center and Bing ads, and then you basically link up your feed and set up Bing Search Console and basically go into Bing and copy and paste your Google ads, and boom, you got Bing ads going. So it's pretty amazing. But you do need to make sure you're checking on it every day and make sure that you're not overspending, okay? You have a good return on ad spend. Some niches, the people are on Bing all the time, so it's really good to get on Bing ads. All right, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is store management, because usually by the time we get to this point, you're going to be managing your store finally. And it's really important that you actually do a good job of managing your store. There's a few different ways to go about it, and the ways that I recommend doing it could be different than what you should end up doing, okay? So take what I tell you with a grain of salt and go and figure out your own way to do it for your niche industry and your particular store, whatever works best for you. Because I do it one way doesn't mean you should do it that same way. The store management's really simple. Obviously, it's just how dropshipping works, okay? You have to get orders first, so do everything you can to do that, and then you get an order, okay? You have to make sure that it's not fraudulent. That's the first thing I do. I use an app called ClearSale. You can do your own research, but ClearSale will do the research for you. I'll drop a link to them here in the description of this video. ClearSale is awesome because they will basically go out there and make sure that your customers are real customers, that they're actually the people that own those credit cards they're using to place orders on your website. And that's key because these are high-ticket products, folks. $5,000, $10,000 products, you don't want to be out that money, okay? If it's fraudulent and you deliver it and you get a chargeback and you can't win the chargeback at the bank, that sucks. Happened to me one time and I won't let it happen to me again. ClearSale charges very low fees. They're usually less than 1% on the actual transaction, but it depends. It's custom for every single person. It really just depends on you. Sometimes it's a little bit more than 1%, but it's between 0.5 and 2% on average. Okay, and ClearSale is totally worth it. But the first thing you want to do is make sure it's not a fraudulent order. They will send you an email. It'll say approved. You can check your dashboard, okay? The next thing is you want to make sure it's in stock with your supplier. So you send them a quick email, or you check out their inventory list or their website, however they have things set up, okay? And then you want to make sure that it's going to be profitable, okay? So if it's a new product, you want to make sure you list it at the right price and there's a good profit margin. And you want to ask about the shipping costs. Is there a shipping cost added? And if so, how much? Are you going to deal with the shipping for me, Mr. Supplier, or am I going to have to make that myself? And after all the costs are done, then you add up the margin. And if the margin is profitable, then you ship it out, okay? Once it's shipped out, your automations should kick in. You can set up an app called AfterShip, which I highly recommend. I'll type that in here, AfterShip. That's a app in the Shopify App Store. I believe they work with eCommerce too. I'm not exactly sure on that, but there's probably apps that do if they don't. And AfterShip will notify you if there's any problems with that particular shipment. They'll also notify your customer, okay? At all points along the way, they'll notify you when it's shipped. They'll notify you when it's getting delivered. They'll notify you if there's any problems with the delivery, and they'll notify you if it's been returned to the sender. And it's really good to know that right when it happens, because then you can call the freight company, call the customer, see what's going on, and get it figured out. If you don't, then things can lag. You can end up racking up warehousing fees if things don't get delivered in time, and things can go awfully wrong. So I definitely recommend setting up an app like that for automation and getting that going, okay? Now, hopefully things get delivered correctly. If something happens in delivery, or shipping damage happens, then you have to go through the process of dealing with shipping damage. Usually what I tell customers is if it's obvious the product is damaged when it's arrived, to just mark it as it's damaged and don't sign for it. Return to sender. Okay, that's the easiest way, because then they won't have to pay to ship it back. The manufacturer doesn't have to. They can just file a claim with the shipping company, and they can send out a replacement product. Okay, that's something you need to tell your customers in email and over the phone as well. Okay, if it's freight, if it's something that the freight company needs to call the customer and schedule the actual delivery time, you need to make your customer aware of that. Okay, make sure the phone number is good of that order. Call the customer when you get the order and say, hey, this is a freight shipment. They're going to be calling you to make the delivery, so you have to make sure this is a good number to call you on. Okay, so make sure, because I've had that happen in the past where we didn't call the customer and it turns out it was a bad phone number, and just all this BS happens, and you just don't want to deal with that. So make sure ahead of time the phone number is good. Okay. This juice is so good. All right, and then of course, if it gets delivered and everything's good, sometimes you can't see the shipping damage until after the product is out of the box, right? So customers might get things damaged in shipment when it gets out of the box, and that really sucks. So you want to make sure that the actual information on how to deal with that is relayed to the customer as well after the purchase is made. And that's going to fall under a warranty policy, okay? So whatever the warranty policy is, whether it is a replacement parts warranty policy, no labor included, or if it's like a full replacement warranty policy or whatever it happens to be, customer needs to be made aware of that, okay? Because if they aren't and they're surprised by it, usually you'll have a thing called buyer's remorse at that point, and the buyer gets pissed off and they want to ship the product back, blah, blah, blah. And you got to pay for the shipping because they don't want to pay, da, 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 da. It's annoying, right? But it's just something you're going to have to deal with, and it's something that at all costs you want to make sure that customers taken care of so they don't become a nightmare to your business, because customers will do stupid things. They'll go file claims with the BBB. They'll go on Facebook and leave you bad reviews. They'll go on YouTube and make videos and all this BS, and you just don't want bad rap, okay? Take care of those customers. Just consider it a cost you're going to write off to your business profits, okay? And if all goes well, then the product is delivered and you won't hear anything back from the customer, and you can follow up with them to get more sales from them in the future, and you can get them to refer them to your friends and get a review from them, okay? Set up an app like Judge Me. I recommend them. There's other ones like Looks and other review apps like Yotpo, which is kind of expensive for the premium version, but that's okay. Apps like that are really good because they'll automatically follow up with their customer and they'll get reviews, and that's key to success, is having actual real reviews from customers. And if you get a review with a picture of the product or actual video testimonial, even better. Those are the best kind, like real video testimonials. So you can send emails to your customers, hey, you get a $50 gift, or we'll send you $50, whatever, if you make a video for us, or 20 bucks or whatever you want to do, okay? That kind of stuff is awesome. All right, guys, so that's pretty much store management in a nutshell. And let's see here. Yeah, awesome. Great. Thanks, Crypto King. You are amazing for commenting here. Thanks, guys. And if you have any questions or have any comments, let me know. Hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Tell all your friends about us. Share my content so I can help more people, and check out the podcast as well, ecommerceparadise.com/podcast. All right, next one is outsourcing. Let's outsource some stuff, guys, because why do you want to do all work all day? You work in Bali, live in a friggin' villa that's amazing. Like, let's get some virtual assistants doing the work for us, right? So I already put a link in there, but it's online jobs. I recommend going there. Hire a full-time customer service assistant. They're maybe $500, $600 a month. And if you're doing over $10,000, $20,000 in sales with high ticket, I highly recommend doing that, because they can take a lot of the work off your hands. They can handle supplier relations. They can handle customer support and sales even. They can deal with website updates, dealing with stock updates and all sorts of stuff. And you can focus more on growth, okay, which is really important, because the next thing I'm going to get into is growth after this. And really, in order to focus on growth, you're going to have to remove yourself from that day-to-day tasks of your business, because if you are in the day-to-day tasks all the time, when are you ever going to have time to get content going on your website, grow a community, schedule out promotions, and build your catalog more. Okay, so it's really important that you focus on growth as a business owner and that you outsource the day-to-day tasks for your business. All right. Okay, so go to online jobs, make a job posting that just says basically what your day-to-day tasks are. All right, ask them to submit, give you their Skype ID, and then call them over the phone and have an interview with them, have a discussion with them. Ask them what their previous experience is like, if they've dealt with dropshipping before. Kind of get an idea of what their tonality is like, what their attitude is like, if they're sharp or if they're kind of like slow and dumb. Okay, make sure that you're hiring somebody sharp. You want A players. And make sure that they have a fast computer, they have fast internet connection, they have a good distraction-free home work environment, like a home office. If they have kids or pets, that it's in a separate room entirely. Make sure they have a good microphone that they're working with. Okay, all these things are really key to their success working with you. And if they have problems, it's going to usually stem from a foundation that you can uncover through an interview and asking proper questions, okay? So it's really important that you cover these questions in an interview and that you know this ahead of time before you get going. So get some stuff outsourced, guys. It's the greatest way to grow your business, and you can relax. And if you really want to take a week off or something and go on vacation because your agent is doing everything for you. All right, now we're gonna get into growth. Once you've really got your foundation laid and it's time to start scaling, there's a lot of great things you can do, okay? But first and foremost, I wanna make a really big impression on you here that content is king. And Google is king. Facebook is also king in the social media space, but with high ticket, Google's king, and content is what is going to make your website stand out to your customers and stand out to Google. And when your website stands out to your customers, it will stand out to Google more. All right, so how do we make content on our website? Let's talk about that a little bit. Content is really important, and the first place you should make a lot of really good copywriting content is in your product descriptions, okay? Make sure you talk about all the benefits of the features of the product, and make sure you understand your target market and their needs and wants and desires, and you talk to them in that language of how to solve their problems, how to fulfill their desires, how to scratch their itch, that kind of stuff, okay? Product description is the first place, because with Google Shopping ads, you're sending people directly to those landing pages of the product descriptions, okay? If you have really good product descriptions and you're optimized for conversion, you're more likely to sell. On top of that, you wanna make sure you have the best offer out there, okay? So make sure that you look at your competitors' offers. What are they offering the customer? Are they offering a coupon code? Are they offering free gifts? Are they offering add-ons and accessories and upsells and white glove delivery? Are they offering extended warranties? There's all sorts of things that your competitors might be offering as bonuses, and you need to match and beat their offers in order to win sales, okay? So offer optimization and product description optimization go hand in hand. And of course, the product descriptions, you really need to make good images and put videos in there as well. Multimedia really helps people sell and see and understand the product as they're going through the product description. All right, the next type of content is collection buyer guides. Okay, collections are like category pages on WordPress, collection pages on Shopify. It's basically like the category page of that product. You want to make a buying guide on that page. Okay, it's really important. Lots of content that explains to people what the product is, who you are as a business, and why they should buy from you. How those types of products work and stuff like that. Why they should get one, which ones you recommend, and how to go about buying from you, and give them some urgency and some scarcity, okay? It's basically what a full, complete buying guide is. And you should put it on every single collection page that gets traffic, especially the main ones, because if you rank your collection pages in Google and they have really good buying guides, your sales are gonna grow like crazy, okay? It's just how it goes. The main difference, and I wanna make this really clear and concrete, the main difference between websites that do over 6 figures per month in sales and the ones that do under 6 figures is collection page buying guides. I mean, everything else included, but like ones that do and the ones that don't, the ones that do are making way more money than the ones that don't. All right, next ones are blog posts. Blog posts are gonna be all those different keywords and resources that you wanna offer in the community, industry resources, and this versus that, reviews of actual products, top 10 best this, top 10 best that. Any of these keywords, you should definitely make content. You get ideas from your competitors, especially the older competitors, and get lots of ideas from them. And it's really good to make all sorts of blog content that leads people to buying something from you. So make sure you link from the blog article to the product pages, collection pages, things like that, and get them to sign up for your email list. Parrot asks, great live. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That is awesome. You guys, if you're tuning in here, definitely hit that like button. I appreciate all the great feedback, and we'll definitely keep this going. Question here is, when is the right time to launch your second website? I would say when you get your first website all filled out with content, you got your ads going, you got someone outsourced that's actually managing it for you, so you don't have to do the day-to-day to actually manage that store. Then you can create a second site, okay? You can even have the same person manage multiple stores, but at some point, things are just gonna get too busy for that one person. You have to hire a second person. And when things are too busy, they're also gonna be very profitable, right? So you can afford to hire a second person. So it's just really kind of a point. I kind of have like a milestone point of $10,000 in revenue per month. Once I hit that 10,000, which is usually like first month we launch, then I hire an actual store manager for that particular store that manages all the daily tasks for that store, okay? Great question. Good idea to outsourcing content on Fiverr. Here's my thoughts on that. When you outsource content on Fiverr, you are not hiring an expert in your niche most of the time, okay? Now, the problem with making content for high ticket, I mean, any kind of content, is that if you are not an expert in your niche, you are not gonna understand that target market. You're not gonna understand their needs, you're not gonna understand their wants, you're not gonna understand the type of people they are, their problems, the things that keep them up at night. You're not gonna understand all those little weird things. You're not gonna understand the language they talk to each other in, the little words, funny words they use, right? You need to be an expert, right? So that's why you need to be an expert first. And then whoever you hire to write content for your store needs to also understand that niche just as well as you do. And the question is, how do you do it, okay? So one, you can outsource writing to an expert already, who's already an expert. You're just gonna pay about more for it, okay? You can find people just by simply typing in a job description on Upwork. Hey, I'm in the beer brewing niche. I need someone who's like a beer brewing expert, who's been beer brewing their whole freaking life and loves drinking home brewed beer and is a really good SEO writer as well, that kind of thing. If you make that description, you find somebody who's really good at that and who's good at writing, that's magical, because then you can hire that person and get them to write content that's gonna have a really good return on ad spend, and you can get that person to write full time for you, maybe even if they're available for that, okay? The other thing is that you can hire somebody who's not yet an expert, but is willing to become an expert in that space by studying the target market, okay? So it's really easy to study target markets online. You can watch YouTube videos, and you can read blog posts, and you can watch the news and blah, blah, blah. You can do all sorts of research in that market and kind of get an idea of the type of people and the type of words they use and everything about that, okay? Because that's really what you want. You want to get an idea of who these people are, what their lives are like, so that you can talk to them in a way that resonates with them. You can hire somebody to do that for you, but you're gonna have to hire them full time, okay? In order for somebody, and just think about it this way, like if this was you, in order for somebody to make that investment, right, that obviously you're gonna need to give them some sort of a promise of like, hey, I'm gonna hire you full time. I'm gonna pay you 500, 600, $1,000 a month or whatever for like a long period of time in order for you to become an expert in my niche and write me content over and over and over again for the same niche in different angles and stuff like that, okay? So those are the different ways to outsource content. Do not just go to a writer on Fiverr, pay him $5 and expect an amazing blog article on your really specific niche. This is not gonna happen. And it might even be copied content, okay? Don't make that mistake. I've done it before. All right, guys, so that's it about content. I hope you guys understand that, and a little bit of offer optimization in there too. Those things will make your ads a lot more profitable. They'll give you a lot of organic traffic, which is free sales, which is amazing because that's obviously super profitable, and your store will grow like crazy. Now, you can take all of the content you've made and turn it into YouTube videos and upload them to your YouTube channel, embed them on those pages of your website, and then you'll really enhance the backlink profile of your website. You'll get a lot more organic traffic, and you'll be able to really build more trust with your customers. You can also create testimonial videos and upload them. You can create about us videos, upload them. Any page of your website really could use a video version, okay? Because video is huge in e-commerce these days, and it really puts a personal touch to your business. All right, cool. Let's take another quick break. Thanks guys for watching. Hit that thumbs up button. We're going on 2 hours here. It is 3:40 in the afternoon here in Kuta, Bali, Legian Beach, where I'm at right now. I want to know where you guys are tuning in from, so drop that in the comment box. I appreciate every single comment I get. Let's go out here and kind of look at the sun really quick. So it's nice to take a quick break when you're just working all day long and check out the sky. It's so beautiful. Hope you guys are doing great out here. In Bali, they like to fly kites this time of year. There's tons of wind, so you can see a little kite up there in the corner if you look carefully. Yeah, so all right, great. That feels good. Take a quick break. Got a few more topics to talk about here, folks. So we'll get back into it right now. New Zealand, all right. California, cool. Yeah. Cali in the house. Man, it must be late there. Oh, it's not that late for, what is it, Friday night. Yeah, you're just up late freaking hustling. That's awesome. New Zealand, you must be around the same time zone I am, probably getting towards dinner time for you, I would imagine. But yes, and it's cooling off out there as well, right? Getting towards the winter season. All right, guys, so let's get into it. The next topic we're going to talk about is multi-channel selling. This is pretty simple stuff, but give you some tips from my experience here. Multi-channel just basically means you're selling on other marketplaces like eBay, Amazon, Houzz, and any other marketplace you can find. Sometimes people sell on Walmart and stuff like that. New York in the house, baby, 3:40 a.m. hustling hard, middle of the night, Crypto King. That's what I would expect from you, man. That is awesome. Man or woman, whichever you are. King, I would imagine you're a man, okay? Otherwise, you'd be Crypto Queen, of course. All right, buddy. Well, I hope you're staying safe out there as well. I know things are crazy right now. When you're selling on other marketplaces, eBay, Amazon, Houzz, here's the main thing. You have to adhere to their policies. It's the toughest thing. It's not your website anymore, right? So number one, you're not going to be able to post a bunch of reviews to your listings. Number two, you're not going to be able to link to other parts of your website because it's eBay's website, not yours, when you make listings. Number three, you got to put all the information to the product listing. On your website, you can have separate pages for like the warranty policies and return policies and stuff like that. But on eBay, Amazon, whatever, you've got to put all the information you can into that. Amazon specifically, sometimes you're not even making the listing. You're just putting yourself as another seller on a pre-made listing. And if you want to make additions to it, you've got to submit that for to be approved. So on eBay, it's a little bit easier making your own listing. Houzz is similar to eBay in the sense that you'll just be listing your own products. But eBay is cool in the sense that they drive a lot of free traffic for you to your listings. It's not cool in the sense that they charge you close to 10% when you make a sale. Okay, so with that said, usually what I'm doing is I'm raising the price of my products according to whatever they charge me. So on eBay, for instance, they charge me 9% plus an extra 3% from PayPal, right? So I'm charging an extra 9% on top. So I just have my VAs post them on eBay and raise the price 10%. On Amazon, it's a little bit more, okay? They charge 15%. So I usually have them raise it 15% on Amazon. Other people are going to sell it for less and they're going to be making less money and they're going to have more problems and they'll probably make more sales. But when you make a sale, it'll be more profitable, okay? I would rather make less sales that are more profitable than more sales that are less profitable because you're going to have an easier time, you're going to make more money, and you're just going to be happier in general. Now, if you make a ton of sales that are unprofitable, you're going to have more problems, you're going to have that much money going on, and you're going to have all sorts of weird financial issues. So I recommend going that route. It's up to you, of course, in the beginning and as you scale. Thing about the third-party platforms, you got to be really careful about the shipping times, okay? If you list your product that it's going to ship out in like 3 days and yet it's back ordered 2 weeks, you get dinged for that. They see those metrics and they say that you aren't shipping on time, so that lowers your seller metrics. Then if your seller metrics are lowered, your product listings won't show up as much, and you're unlikely to get sales, of course. You might even get banned from the platform eventually, okay? Third thing is customer complaints, okay? With a third-party platform, customers complain directly to eBay and Amazon. They don't go to you first. And that's a pain in the ass because then they see those complaints and oftentimes they'll ding you and your seller metrics go down because of that. And if you get enough complaints, especially the really bad ones, the claims that usually have to deal with defective products or shipping damage, then that's going to lead to you eventually possibly getting banned from their platform as well. So you got to be really careful. It's dropshipping high-ticket products, and just know what you're getting yourself into. Number one, all the sales you make on a third-party platform are not going to be able to be put towards your total revenue if you go to sell your website later. Okay, because obviously if you're not selling your eBay account with the website, you can't put that in there. So just keep that in mind. It's not really an asset you're building. It's just kind of extra side money you're making. But I sell on eBay and it's profitable, if you raise the price, and heck guys, why not if you can do it, right? All right, let's talk about another way to get sales and traffic outside of Google Ads and organic. Let's talk about influencers. In the high-ticket dropshipping space, with high-ticket products, usually the affiliate commissions, generally speaking, are going to be more just because there's higher priced products, right? So if you reach out to influencers in your space, if there are any, like for instance, if you sell, let's just talk about furniture, home decor, there's a lot of influencers in furniture and home decor, a lot of blogs, a lot of Instagram accounts, a lot of YouTube channels. You can reach out to these people and you can say, hey guys, would you be interested in an affiliate account in exchange for promoting me like with a banner on your website or, in an article or something like that? And they might be interested. And also what they might do is they might offer you just to pay them up front a fee to have their, a banner on their website or have them write a guest post or something like that to link back to your website too. But going through these other traffic channels, basically called referral traffic, is a really good way of getting free traffic for an upfront payment. Okay, and for the long run, you'll get really good backlinks as well if you go to the right influencers, and influencers are going to be referring you. So that traffic that comes in is way better traffic. It's got built-in trust. And those types of people, those types of leads, generally speaking, buy more, and they also respect you more, and they spend more money, and they're better customers in the long run. So it's really good to get leads through influencers and referral traffic, stuff like that. Okay. Now, if you're going to send leads from a guest post, for instance, to your website, don't just send them to your homepage. Okay, they'll get lost. Send them to a sales funnel. Okay, that's what I'm talking about next year: sales funnels for e-commerce, for high ticket specifically. Okay, and this starts with your lead generator, like a buying guide or something like that, a free guide, a free white paper, whatever. Usually a buying guide, and you're going to either send them to that collection page with the buying guide on it, or actually make that buying guide into a PDF. Okay, that you can deliver to that customer that then sends them links to your website. Either way, you want to have some sort of a opt-in page, what they call a squeeze page. Does not have a header, does not have a footer. The only thing you can do is enter your name, email, and hit submit. And it has a bit of content, maybe a picture of the lead generator on it, okay? A lot of really great squeeze page builders are out there, like Lead Pages is one, ClickFunnels is one, Zipify works directly with Shopify. I recommend them, which is one. I'll drop a link here to Zipify because I highly recommend them. I use them myself. They are a bit pricey, but they are really good, and they plug directly into Shopify. There's other ones as well. If you just go to the Shopify app store, you can find sales page builders, and you can go check those out, okay? What you want to do is you want to create that lead generator opt-in page, and then you want to send them to a page, usually that has a thank you video of yourself thanking them, or you hire somebody else to make a video, or you just have a text that says thank you. And you tell them they're going to get their guide sent to their email in a moment, but right now that they need to go to their email and confirm their subscription. Okay, and with that, you need to confirm their subscription. They need to confirm their subscription first, and then you'll be able to send them more emails from there, okay? And then you want to create an email sequence that sends them more content related to the category that gets them to come back to your website and hopefully get to the point where they're either placing an order or abandoning their cart, in which case then you'll hit them with more retargeting ads and more emails and hopefully eventually close a sale. And if not, then at least you can just retarget them over time and hopefully get a sale eventually from them, right? So that's how that goes, guys. Really simple stuff. All right. Now that we're done with that, let's talk about a few more ways you can grow a high-ticket dropshipping business. I'm not going to go too in-depth on any of these, but I am going to talk about them in a sense that you can scale in different ways. There's a lot more opportunity outside of just simply dropshipping your supplier's products in this space. And it's a really good idea if you want to grow a long-term sustainable business to do this kind of stuff, because you're going to be able to grow a lot. And take Amazon as a case study example. Amazon, in the beginning, they just sold books, right? But as they grew, they started selling other categories. And then all of a sudden, they decided to start a membership program called Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime grew pretty slowly in the beginning, but sometime after the first few years of doing it, it skyrocketed because people really saw the value, and they started offering more value with the Prime membership besides just free shipping. They offered, music on demand, movies on demand, and other things, books on demand, stuff like that. And I'll get into that right now. So when it comes to membership programs with your own e-commerce store, you could set up your own kind of Prime. That is one thing you can do, okay? Just do it. It's pretty simple. Just have a product people can buy or offer it as a free gift, a membership program, okay? Just telling somebody they can get a membership, it just makes them feel like they're part of a club, okay? It makes them more likely to come back to you and be part of your community. Tell them they're a member. People like being part of a community, okay? Tell them they're a part of a community, and it gets them excited and happy. Seriously, it's just a great marketing trick. And if you want to charge people money for that, then you might consider offering more value. Of course, you're going to probably have to get a sale, right? So $29 a month gets you access to a lot of free content, or not free content, but content, like in-depth content, or it gets you access to, additional free shipping or, other things. Now, a really good way to do membership programs with high-ticket e-commerce is not actually with the high-ticket products themselves, but with the accessories and add-ons that you can sell with those high-ticket products. So think about your high-ticket products. What kind of accessories and add-ons can you sell with it? What kind of things people use on an ongoing basis? If you can package those things into a subscription box, or even just make it so that they can buy those products one at a time over and over and over again, then you'll be able to create a recurring income every single month for a certain percentage of your buyers, okay? And subscription boxes are awesome because usually what they're doing is they're putting a different set of accessories or whatever into that box each month and sending it out, and that box can cost anywhere between like $20 to $150 or whatever. And recurring subscriptions are great because those people can buy those same accessories that they need to use every month over and over again, and they'll buy it from you and you'll just ship it out, okay? And you can drop ship these products from Amazon, you can have a supplier, or you can even just private label them and hold them in a fulfillment warehouse yourself or using Amazon FBA. There's many different ways to do that. But that's a great way to grow a high-ticket dropshipping store is by subscription boxes and subscriptions to the actual ongoing products they're gonna need, okay? All right, and then another great way to grow your store is actually, obviously, I already talked about this, but with private labeling those actual subscription products, just create your own brand, okay? Branded e-commerce is amazing because you're creating an asset that nobody can compete with. None of your competitors will be able to create that same brand. They can create a different brand to compete, but they can't create your brand because it's trademarked, it's copyrighted, right? And so what a great way to grow yes, it will definitely be posted on YouTube later. Thanks for the question. Yeah, I know, 2 hours plus. I'll definitely make sure that I post this to YouTube. You can tune in later. Have a good night. I know it's probably getting really late there in California. Anyways, thank you, Parrot, for viewing. Take care. And so the private labeling of products is a great way to grow your brand, especially for the accessories and things like that. Should definitely scale in that direction. It does cost money up front, so you'll need money to invest, okay? So keep that in mind. Let's talk about another way that you can actually make profits that you wouldn't have thought of through the same niches that you're targeting with high-ticket dropshipping, and that is with self-publishing books, okay? Information on particular product categories is hard to come by sometimes, and mostly people buy books or look at blog posts and stuff like that on websites. But if you can figure out how to make a book in your particular category and post it to Kindle that talks about those products, it might be a really good bestseller, okay? People need these kinds of information, and they're on the Kindle store all the time. People love reading books because it's just a lot better way to consume information. So consider self-publishing books in those categories on Kindle. The self-publishing process is really easy. Amazon Kindle is a free platform to sign up for. You just need to obviously either write the book or get someone to write it for you, format it for Kindle, create a cover, post it up there, create a sales page, and then promote it to your audience, okay? All right, and the last thing I want to talk about is actually creating separate content sites off of your site to send traffic to your site. This is kind of an SEO trick, but you can create WordPress sites that have just content regarding all those same keywords I talked about making for your blog on your own e-commerce site, and making it branded very generically, or even just branded, actually a good brand. But the idea is not to send traffic to Amazon's affiliate program, to send traffic instead to your own e-commerce site. Because of course, if you have a business set up really good, that's really well operating, you're making way more profit than if you would just from sending traffic to Amazon. You make 20% on your own product as opposed to 2% from Amazon. So why not send it to your own website, Steal a lot of traffic from Amazon that way, get more customers that are searching for that product, go to your website, that are pre-warmed up, kind of like referral traffic, and yeah, you kind of create your own sort of influencer in a space. You can become an influencer in your own space in a sense, and send traffic to your website from yourself. And you can do this a lot. If you end up doing it a lot, it's kind of borders along the lines of a private blog network, PBN, which is an SEO trick that usually SEOs use to get a lot of traffic organically to a website to rank it higher, by showing that there's a nice backlink portfolio to a website through websites that refer to other websites that refer to you and stuff like that. So keep in mind that that kind of stuff is very dangerous because Google could ding you for that if you start seeing you doing it, but it is possible, okay? All right, and the last couple things I want to talk about are really fun. This one is going to be amazing. It's something that you should always think about when you first get started. But before we get into it, I'm going to answer a quick question here. Mr. Tech asks me, do you notice more success with cold calling suppliers or emailing? Does your course explain how to sound professional and what to know and say regarding calling suppliers? Yeah, Mr. Tech, definitely. And also watch this video back, because I just kind of like did that in the supplier recruiting section of this video. I'm not exactly sure. I'll try to have a VA go through it and mark what chapters are on the video, because I had about 50 different talking points in this video. But yes, my course does have a full supplier recruiting thing where I actually show myself calling suppliers. So if you're interested, definitely check that out. All right, and this next section is going to be about selling your business. So the coolest thing about having high-ticket dropshipping stores is you can sell them as assets later on, okay? I don't recommend it if you don't already have another business set up that's doing really well, but I do recommend it if you are ready to exit your business and you have a good opportunity. Sometimes you'll get lucky and just get acquired. It really just depends on the selling price that you're being offered, okay? So if you are, let's say, having a tough situation, maybe you got divorced, or someone died, or whatever, the partnership broke up, you have to sell your business. Well, you're probably going to get a lower amount for it, but you will be able to sell it. These are assets, and it's based on a cash flowing store, on a monthly sales volume, on a multiple, on how long it's been around for, and how well diversified the portfolio of suppliers and products are, and a whole bunch of other factors. But selling your website is awesome, and you can actually get quite a bit for it. So it's usually somewhere between 18x to like 24x on average, your monthly net profits, so, that's like 1.5 to 2x your yearly net profit. So if you've been around for like a year or longer, you can usually get at least 18x for it. If you've been around for a couple of years, you usually get like 24 or more, multiple for it. And if you're making a profit of like $5,000 or $10,000 a month, that's quite a bit of money, 5 figures at least. And if you hold on to it longer and get the profit higher, then you can probably get 6 figures for your website. And if you now have the process down really good, you can then go ahead and just build new websites and other niches and kind of take over like you did in the niche that you already did. So it's a great way to build wealth, okay? We're kind of in the internet gold rush in a sense still, right? Internet's kind of the Wild West. So it's pretty exciting times we're in, and you can do it just as well as I can. Now let's talk about buying a store. If you're actually in a position to buy a website, there's a few different options you can go, okay? You can buy a website simply that's cash flowing, like I just talked about. If you have the money to spend and you want a business that's already going on, you can do that, okay? Somewhere between $20,000 all the way up to $200,000 or more, $2 million to get you a really big one, obviously. There's business brokers out there you can go through to find good websites. You can also go through Facebook groups. But if you don't have the kind of budget to spend on that, if you have a lower budget, but you still want a good enough website, you can usually go to marketplaces like the Shopify Exchange or Flippa and find stores that have kind of been forgotten about, for $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000. You can buy a website that's probably already got suppliers on board, that's got a product catalog that may or may not be outdated, and that, has some order volume from probably in the history, okay, that can use some revamping, but you can get that website. And if you want to get a website built brand new from scratch, you can check out my turnkey offer, which is in the description. I'm going to put in the chat box right now. And I actually have a team that builds these websites out for you guys the way that I do. And you can check that out. Okay, it's a really great way to do it. It's a low-cost investment, compared to spending tens of thousands of dollars on your own website. And it's custom. It's brand new. You're working with a brand new platform. Really good suppliers, and you can get into it. All right, last thing I'm going to talk about a little bit is travel hacking, and we are going to end this live. I had 53 talking points, and oh my gosh, it's been over 2 hours. That's so cool. Thank you guys for tuning in, and again, please hit that like button. I really appreciate it, and thanks so much for being a part of this. I'm going to try to do this more often. I love you guys. Yeah, of course. Crypto J asks, if I was to get a turnkey store, would you help me with the niche? Yeah, that's part of it. I definitely recommend niches that are doing really well, and I can show you, and you can kind of make the decision based upon what you think you do best with to start off with, okay? And by the way, after the turnkey store is delivered, we always provide the service of hiring a VA on your behalf as an added option, as an add-on. If you are interested in that, we can source and hire and train a VA to manage your store for you for a fee, okay? So that's always possible as well. Anyway, travel hacking is amazing, guys. Obviously, right now during the pandemic, it's not really as possible as before, but it's always something you should have on your mind when you're building this business out, because with high-ticket drop shipping, you should always be thinking about all the cool things you can do with that cashback rewards on your credit card. If you just do some simple math, actually, you'll see that normally cashback reward credit cards offer 1.5 to 2% cash back. I'll pull up a calculator here on my computer. You can't see it, but let's just say your cost of goods sold for 1 month was just $10,000. Just say you're just getting started, and you have that Capital One Spark cashback is 2%, so 0.02. You've made $200 in cash back in that month. $200, okay? That's an extra $200 in net profit you can add to your bottom line, or that's $200 you can use for travel or gift cards or whatever. And the coolest thing is that it's tax-free as well, okay? So that's awesome. Now let's say you start growing your store and you get to $50,000 in a cost of goods sold, and you made like $80,000 that month. That's a pretty good month, okay? Now you're making $1,000 a month extra in net profit. Okay, you should have already been making about $8,000, whatever, $10,000 in profit that month, but you made an additional $1,000. Now, the coolest thing about this isn't just that dollar amount. It's that you can actually use these cashback rewards on these credit cards for free travel that's worth more than what the cash value of it would be worth. Like, for instance, with the Chase Rewards program, you get on your Chase Inc. Business Plus, you get 1.5% cash back. Or when you use it for travel, it's worth 1.5 times as much as you would if you were got cash. So if you had like $1,000 in cash back or whatever, like close to 100,000 reward points, then you would be able to spend that and get $1,500 worth of travel, which is usually the about what it costs for a one-way business flight halfway across the world from like the US to Bali, that kind of thing. So it's pretty cool, and there's tons of great cards. Yeah, I know for international people, it kind of sucks because outside of America, it's hard to come by. And yeah, that's true. Sorry about that, man. Hopefully someday the rest of the world wakes up and realizes what a cool opportunity it is out there. But banks in America, man, like, I don't know what it really is exactly. I know over time that they've been able to lend so much money because of the monetary policy in the US, just the basic monetary policy. The U.S. is also the staple dollar around the world, is what most currencies are pegged to. So banks are able to just loan out ridiculous amounts of money, and thus they're able to do these reward systems. Maybe internationally it's not like that. I would need to educate myself more to comment more on that. But regarding just basically what I know, there's a lot of great reward cards available in the U.S. And I know for a fact with PayPal, they have a debit card. I think it's available internationally. I'm not 100% on that. You'll have to check. But they also have a rewards. When you use your PayPal debit card, you get that. So if you take sales via PayPal, you can use your debit card to pay for the cost of goods sold, and you get a cashback reward of some amount. So Crypto J says he's been traveling for the last 11 months. How awesome is that, guys? Wish I could leverage travel hacking in Lithuania. That's awesome. Okay, yeah, I see. Lithuania sounds like an awesome place. I heard really cool things about that side of the world. And I want to go out there someday too, and that's great. Thanks for tuning in and letting me know about that. Hope the community really gained something from this. Guys, if you are interested in getting started with high-ticket dropshipping, or you already have and you just haven't really figured it out yet, definitely go check out my high-ticket dropshipping masterclass. I put tons of my life into that. For like the last 3 years I've been making content, and it's all over my shoulder stuff. I actually show my own stores in that course. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to run it for, because I'm having all my own internal stores now, and giving away my stores is kind of making some kind of weird competition between me and new students. So I'm not 100% sure I'm going to keep doing that, but I know for sure for right now I am anyways. So consider getting into that course. The value of the course is so high because it comes with a lot of done-for-you things. It has done-for-you niche research sheets. It has done-for-you bookkeeping sheets. It has done-for-you page templates. I've got done-for-you email templates. I've got done-for-you ad templates. There's just tons of stuff in there. Like, it's ridiculous. So yeah, I love my own course. I actually refer back to it when I'm creating my own sites, because sometimes I forget how to do stuff. There's so much knowledge in my brain, and I had to put it somewhere in an organized fashion. So that's the best way you can do it. And I'm a very generous person, and I want to help other people as well, help you guys. So check that out. If you're interested in getting a done-for-you service, store done for you, check out the Turnkey. And of course, check out my resources page. I post all my affiliate links for the different software programs. So if you guys have found value from my content, my free content, the least you can do is just use my link to purchase one of the softwares if you decide to purchase that software. That's through my resources page, which I'll post here. There'll be the last link that I post here. And that's about it, guys. So if you guys have any questions, I'll probably leave the Q&A going for about 5 or 10 minutes here. It's 4 in the afternoon. I got to go out and get some food now. I've been doing this for a long time. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate that. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the link below. In the meantime, I'm going to walk around my villa here, take a break, relax. It's kind of nice. Being out here is really cool. I love Bali. It's a good place to live. Really affordable and really sunny, beautiful. And the pool's pretty chill too. It's nice. It's funny at these villas, they just have these like little pools that that are more like little places you can dip your feet in. You can't really get a whole lot of like exercise swimming around these things. You kind of feel like a rat in a cage or whatever, but yeah, it's kind of cool. So basically I just kind of chill most of the time and dip my feet in. Unfortunately, the beaches are still closed out here, which kind of sucks. I don't really know what to say about that. Oh yeah, Jay asked what the living expenses are like. Yeah, so typically speaking, the villas can cost anywhere between like, I don't know, $800 a month all the way up to like thousands of dollars per month. It really depends on where you're at. If you're like in the middle of the tourist area, it's a little bit more. If you're outside the tourist area, it might be a little bit less. The coolest thing about Bali that I like is that it's very safe. Okay, so like there's not a whole lot of crime out here, and there's really no like people that have guns and stuff like that, you know, so there's not a whole lot of like violent crime, which is really nice because, you know, wherever you are in the States, if you're in like a big city, it's kind of sketchy sometimes. There can always be some, you know, violent crime and get robbed or something. I've never had that experience, never really felt sketchy out here. It's funny when you first come out here because it's a developing country. It feels sketchy. It feels like you're in the ghetto, but the people are so nice. And they're so friendly and welcoming. You don't really get people staring at you weird. You just get people smiling at you, which is the coolest thing. I love that about this place. Walking down the street feels just like, you know, you're basically in a small town. And that's the coolest feeling. I love that small town feeling. But without the small town, like weird vibe you get in some small towns where people are like, who is this person? You know, instead they're looking at you like, oh, cool, you know, another tourist, you know, like, you want to buy something, buddy? You know, that kind of thing. It's kind of cool. At first, when I came out here, I was actually kind of tired of dealing with all like the people that were like, buy this, buy that, you know, that kind of thing. And it kind of drove me nuts. But after a while, I realized that actually it's kind of chill, you know. People out here in Bali are nice and, you know, they just need to make a living like everybody else does, you know. So they're just going to sell you some stuff. Moving here, that's a good question. What was moving here like? Moving here is an interesting process because basically you have to become kind of a minimalist and not have so much stuff. I think that was the hardest part. Having so much stuff. Oh my God. Your stuff weighs you down, folks. Oh, there's a mosquito right here. It's the only thing I hate about it. Sometimes there's tons of mosquitoes. And I got one of these freaking mosquito zappers. These things are awesome. See this thing right here? I love this thing. Oh, I love the sound it makes when it kills a mosquito too. It's just like zap. Oh, it's just so like rewarding. All right, well, I'll just sit back down here on the couch where I was. Yeah, so what I decided to do is kind of become a minimalist. I sold a lot of my stuff. Oh, those lights are so annoying in the background. I sold a lot of my stuff and just decided to just get rid of all the extra stuff that I didn't need, you know? So I packed up everything I needed and, you know, along with the tech gear, kind of made my backpack a little bit heavy, but coming out here, I just needed a suitcase. And since I've been here, I bought like a guitar and, you know, some home workout equipment, stuff like that. I got like a pile of skate shoes in the corner. I should show you guys. It's so funny. I skate a lot, and you know how you destroy shoes when you skate. I got literally this like big pile of shoes over here. And the only problem with these shoes is that they have a hole in them because, and it's only usually on the right foot because I'm goofy footed. And so that's the only thing. I have to find like some way to repair these freaking shoes. And I've only skated these for like a week and they just get completely destroyed. It's crazy. But, you know, grip tape will do that. Anyway, it's kind of funny. But yeah, so, you know, stuff will weigh you down. You just got to become a minimalist. What's the bare essentials of what you need, you know? I actually kind of lived out of like hotel rooms for a while there, just with free rewards. I had like a bunch of Hilton points. So I was going from Hilton to Hilton. Out here in this side of the world, you can get Hiltons for like 5,000 Hilton reward points a night. And cards will give you like 100,000 reward points. So that's like, good God, that's like a month or two of free stays at a Hilton, you know? So sometimes I would stay like a week at a Hilton or something just because I wanted to. Yeah, water filters are cool, man. The bigger the better. So look for the commercial water filters and look for some competitors and get ideas there. Yeah. So I really actually enjoy being a minimalist because I don't have as much stuff. It just basically, it gives me options, right? And you should think of the same way. It's like Would you rather have a life with tons of stuff that requires your constant attention, or with very little stuff, and thus your attention can go wherever you want it to go? You can move here, move there, travel here, travel there. You don't have to come back home because of something, for instance, having pets is the best example. It's kind of tough to live a nomadic lifestyle if you have pets, right? If you have a dog, like, you have to take it on the plane with you. You got to travel with the dog. Like, it's more difficult. It's just more stuff to deal with. Having a dog is an amazing thing. I love dogs, but it's just like having a baby. And speaking of which, if you're a family and you have children, being nomadic is definitely possible. It's just harder to do if you don't have an actual home. And children have a tougher time dealing with it as well. So, being a family, it's like there's so much more you have to think about. Like, where is the child going to get schooling? Is it a safe community? Where are we going to eat on a daily basis? Where, when is the, I missed it. Almost got that mosquito. That was a big one too. Where are we going to get the stuff we need on a daily basis, and what are we going to do, and where are we going to take the children and stuff like that? A lot of people in Bali that I see have kids are at the skate park, which is really cool. They get their kids skating when they're such a young age. They're like maybe a year and a half, 2 years old when they first start. And skateboarding is amazing because it's such a free sport. You don't really need to be there at a specific time. You don't need a coach. Like, you just learn on your own, at your own pace with your friends. And so skateboarding is really big out here. There's a lot of skate parks and bowls and stuff like that. And it's a big thing to do along with surfing. And my girlfriend's calling me right now during the Facebook Live. I'll fucking answer. Hey, I'm on YouTube Live right now. Okay, I'll talk to you later. She didn't care. She said, call me back. She actually went to the hospital today to get a test for coronavirus, because she wants to go back to Jakarta, and I was going to get to that in a minute. Jakarta's a different city. But you have to get a test for coronavirus, a rapid test, before you fly anywhere now, right? So she's at the hospital, and she sounded like she was in a good mood, so I think she got good news that she doesn't have coronavirus, which is good. Jay asks, any way to connect with you at a personal level? Yeah, I got email, trevor@ecommerceparadise.com. The thing about me is that I have serious anxiety issues. Okay, this is something I don't normally talk about that much, but I'm a total introvert. You would never know that from the amount of content I make out there. But I really am dead scared of doing podcast interviews and shit like that. I had a chance to get on with Ezra Firestone at one point, and he got at the last minute I bailed on him, and I think I did it 3 different times to him. I feel like such an idiot. And it was just because of my anxiety. I literally have nervous breakdowns sometimes, and I don't know what it comes from. It's my childhood. My whole family has the same problem. But I really try to deal with it by just putting myself out there. If I just jump into the freaking pool, it's not so cold anymore. You know what I mean? You're scared of it because of the thought of what you think it might be. But that thought holds you back from doing so much in your life. You just do it, right? And you just believe in yourself more. Then you'll actually realize it's not as bad as you thought it was. And so the point is, what I've done is I've actually turned off notifications for Messenger. I've turned off notifications for email. I've turned off all my notifications, and Instagram too. I've turned off notifications for all my social media. I really don't like getting interrupted during the day. When I'm really focused on a project, I need to be really focused on that project in order to get it done. This includes my surroundings too. The person that I'm living with, my girlfriend, she suffers sometimes because of that. It's I tell her, I have to be focused. I'm sorry, I can't give you attention during the day. And so she goes out and figures out, things to do, which is great. She has friends. So, I love living this kind of lifestyle because it's good for me, because I'm an introvert naturally. I'm not really the type of person that's naturally inclined to go run a big retreat conference thing. This is not really my thing. I don't even really like doing summits online. I've declined a few different offers to do summits online. It's just not really my thing. I feel afraid of the way people are going to judge me sometimes in an atmosphere like that. And it's kind of odd because when I get into a conference atmosphere, which I've gone to a few conferences, I'm and I meet up with people that I've only seen online before. I'm really friendly with them, and it's a great time. I made some really good friends that way. So, honestly, we all have our problems. It's just something that we're dealing with on an ongoing basis. Nobody's perfect. The best thing that you can do as a human being is just stop worrying about what other people think about you, and start figuring out how to be useful. Okay. And that's all I'm trying to do, is just be useful to an audience. And bring you guys content and, try to make a living doing it. If I were to just do all this for free, I might not make that much money and I would just kind of wither away. And so I need to make a living somehow. Now, other people make a living through affiliate marketing. I try to do it with affiliate marketing and with course sales and done free services and so on and so forth. But my main thing is high ticket dropshipping. I've been doing that for so long now that, it's just my main thing. Like I woke up this morning, I had 3 sales on one store that equaled around $5,000. I had a sale on another store for $2,000. And then, before I started this live call, I got another sale in that same store for like $3,000 more. So like I make a lot of money every day doing this stuff. I have my team managing it for me. So it's a really good cash flowing thing. All I'm doing now is scaling it and trying to help a community to achieve location independence, because there's so many niches out there that, I'm not even selling in yet that have opportunity. I'm like just slowly trying to build my empire. I'll be totally honest with you guys. I went through a really tough divorce last year, and being with my ex was really difficult for me because she doesn't really just understand all this stuff as much. And I really tried to push her more than I should have to try to do this e-commerce stuff with me, more than I should have. And it resulted in a lot of backlash and a lot of misunderstandings and miscommunication and a lot of fighting and stuff like that. It was really difficult. It made me feel stupid. It made me feel really honestly like dumb, like really bad. And I don't know why, but it put me down all the time. And it was just like, I would want to have a conversation with her about like things I'm excited about. I want to make this content, blah, blah, blah. And she'd be like, oh my God, just stop talking about it already, please. Like, it's annoying, and so I really just had to call it at one point. I woke up one day, I said, how much longer am I going to do this to myself? What matters more to me? What are my goals in life and what are my values? And I decided that what I wanted to do, what I wanted, and I didn't know if I could accomplish it yet, but what I wanted was I wanted to remain friends with her and continue to support her through, co-owning a dropshipping store with her. But I didn't want to be with her in a relationship anymore. And it was heartbreaking for her. It was heartbreaking for me. I still deal with it to this day, dreams and shit like that and just things messing with my head all the time. But I was with her for like 10 years. And so, it's difficult. But when you get through something like that, on the other side of it, what you realize is that it was worth it, because no longer am I in an abusive relationship. Now, the person that I'm with, she understands, she has her own business, she has her own money. So we're never sharing the stress of money with each other. And if I'm stressed out about something, she'll just listen, and, she's cool about that. So it's a lot better relationship, and I'm able to get things done that I want to do. I'm able to now grow my business a lot more than I was in the past. And this is also new, like this all just happened last year, and it was just a roller coaster ride since then. So I'm really just working on building up a new business and making this really big now. And it's super exciting for me. Thanks, Crypto J, for all the comments, man. I really appreciate you being in here. Seriously, you're awesome. And it's cool to know that we all kind of share like the similar, things. I think we all kind of go through these tough times in life, and it's really important that we share them with each other sometimes, because honestly, holding it in and not sharing it can be very hurtful as well, and sharing it publicly is scary, because I don't know who's out there. I don't know who's listening, what you're going to judge me and what you're going to think about me. I don't know. But honestly, really, I don't care about how you think of me. I don't care about how you judge me. What I care about is that if you get value from what I tell you, okay? That's really all I care, is that if you get help from me, and I'm just trying to be helpful. People that I look up to in the entrepreneur space, people that are doing e-commerce at this really huge level that aren't fake gurus. People like Ezra Firestone, man, that guy is fucking amazing, man. He's amazing. There's a lot of people you've never heard of that I look up to that are doing high ticket dropshipping really big. One guy I'll mention here, John Warren, he's doing really cool stuff. Ernest Epps is a good old friend of mine. A guy named Kevin King, he's doing cool stuff. The guy behind Easy eCommerce Wins, those guys are really cool. I used to be friends with the Brusca brothers, Joe and Mike, but we kind of had like a falling out after, they said some stuff to a client of mine about me that I don't know if it was just because they were confused or whatever, but it had a negative effect on my relationship with the client. That kind of sucked. So I'm not really close with those guys anymore. However, I do respect their work. Guys that you probably have heard of though. Gary Vee's definitely a talker. He's a really good talker. He's talk. And I got respect for that. Content creators are amazing. When you create content, people listen. We're in this world where anybody can create a YouTube live. Anybody can go live at any time. And it's just about doing it, And when you're on a live video with people, you got their attention. And when you got their attention, you could possibly be building a relationship like I'm doing right now with you guys, So Gary Vee is just a great example of constantly creating content. Here's a quick thing though, is that don't trick yourself into believing you can't do it just because the technology that you have isn't enough. I'm literally using my MacBook to film this right now. This camera sucks. If I even had a better camera, it'd probably look way sicker, but I don't. I just don't really care enough to make it super high quality, studio magical style, because honestly, that doesn't really make a big difference to me anyways. It's pretty for the eyes, but what I really care about is listening to what people have to say. I listen to a lot more podcasts and I watch YouTube videos. I read a lot more books, than I read blog posts. And it's just one of those things where it's the meaning of the content. It's the actual meat of the content that matters more than the fat, That's what I feel like. As far as the biggest mentors that have helped me in my life though, Anton Kraly of Dropship Lifestyle, one of the biggest, and Russell Brunson of ClickFunnels and .com Secrets, one of the biggest. Let's see here, who else? Travis Marziani. Funny enough, he's the guy that I mastermind with that got me leading into with Anton Kraly. But Travis Marziani is a pretty cool dude, and this guy named Johnny FD is an interesting figure. Got me really into the digital nomad thing. You guys probably heard of him through his Travel Like a Boss podcast. The guys behind Tropical MBA, I've never actually met them in person, but they are really cool. They have a great podcast as well. Dan and Ian, I believe, are their names. And I honestly, I work so much on my own stuff. I'm not, trying to run out there and figure out every single freaking other influencer in the world. But that's about it. I mean, tune into my podcast, folks. I got tons of content. My next podcast I'm about to record is actually episode 300. It's a lot, man. So I'm gonna do an episode that's what I've learned and stuff like that, and the things that have changed from when I first got started with the podcast to now, and also from first getting started with entrepreneurship to now. Those kinds of things are amazing as well, and I hope that you can take that away. I've got that podcast isn't going to air until early July. I've got a bunch of content already preloaded to the podcast until then. Podcast is now posting Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So if you guys, of course, I'll just drop a link here. Definitely subscribe to that. On the iTunes store. I've got it on Stitcher now. It's also on, I believe, on Spotify. There's a lot of other channels that pull from it now. So that's it. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate you engaging here, buddy. And I hope to meet up with you someday. Come out to Bali, or maybe I'll try to find you in Lithuania or whatever. And I definitely want to go to New Zealand one of these days too. So you got an awesome country there. New Zealand is very similar to Washington State, which is where I'm from, in Seattle. It's absolutely gorgeous, amazing scenery, mountains. The only other place compared to it is Montana and the Rockies and Alaska. But there's absolutely beautiful scenery out there. The coolest thing in Washington, where I'm from, is that there's forests, dense forests, and some of them are rainforests. And you can find this craziest moss-covered rainforest out there, and it's absolutely beautiful. If you guys ever get a chance, go to Washington and do some hiking and some backpacking and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. I grew up doing that. In Bali now because I love the warmth. In Seattle, it's cold and rainy most of the year, so you don't get to experience the warmth as much. And in Bali, it's pretty much all year round. And usually I get to go surfing, but right now there's no surfing, so I'm sitting in here making content all day. But I'm starting to get a raspy voice, so I'm going to wrap this up, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and definitely hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Get my free niches list at ecommerceparadise.com/99 niches. Blah, 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 blah. All right, guys. Take care, and I'll see you in the next episode.